tackles for loss.
Yeah, I mean, he's, the sack as a stat is great, and obviously those are awesome because they knock offenses back and knock them off schedule. But, if you just look at the amount of times he's, hit quarterbacks or forced throws that are probably not where they'd ideally like to go with the football, that's almost immeasurable in the air. So, he'll get his sacks and he'll be fine, but yeah, he's on third down he's been very good.
Sticking with the stars on that defense, James Conway, you guys were able to get him back against Lafayette. Now played in 2 games this season, over 10 tackles in both of them, seems to be flying around the field. How's the defense looked with him on the field?
Certainly, he definitely provides a presence. They've played well in the 2 games that he's been out there. Look forward to seeing a lot more of him down the line.
James is chasing, he's 15 shy of the Patriot League career tackles record. We've talked a lot in here about just how good he is, but specifically with the tackling, what makes him such an effective tackler?
Well, great after the football. He's strong. He's not afraid to get body on the ball carrier. He's smart, so he knows where to get himself into position. It's really all those things, and it's a lot of it is desire. He wants to be the guy at the point of attack. So he'll play in 2 more this year, and then he should shatter this thing because God willing he gets 12 plus next year.
And then Bennett Henderson, 2 massive field goals, 2 deep ones. What have you seen out of him in his freshman season?
Yeah, he's been solid. With the exception of the op time issue up at Dartmouth, he's been fantastic. Kickoffs, he's got to develop some consistency there, but he's certainly kicking the ball deeper than anyone we've had since Mevis. His location is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, field goal, you feel pretty good once you cross the 38-yard line that, you're in his range, and certainly when you get to the 35. So, he's been a very pleasant surprise.
For Lehigh, this is at the moment the top scoring offense in the Patriot League. They've got a lot of that's based on their rushing attack. And Holy Cross, kind of the same thing we talked about, the run attack. What's the key this week with Lehigh and their backs?
Yeah, I mean, the older big kid runs hard. They got a freshman in there, number 0, who's doing a good job, kind of a change of pace guy. They're playing, well up front. I think 60 is as good of a lineman you're going to have in this league. He didn't finish the game against Yale, so we'll see if he plays. But they use their quarterbacks to run. Typical kind of Dan Hunt stuff. So that's definitely going to be their focus. I think they were able to run for 250 against Yale. So we have to do a great job, and that's kind of the message to the team: stop the run the football.
Thanks, Coach.
Fordham, Lehigh, Week 9 in the FCS, and Evan, 2 weeks ago, Fordham dealt a brutal blow. They fall to Holy Cross. It's their 2nd loss in conference play. No team in Patriot League history has ever won the title with 2 losses.
Right, Lou, but the team knows that they're still playing for things bigger than the Patriot League championship at this point. They're playing for their coaching staff, for their brothers, for their graduate student teammates, some of these guys that'll never get the chance to put on the maroon and white again. So they're going to go out there and give it all they've got today.
All set for kickoff from Goodman Stadium in Pennsylvania. It's Fordham kicking right to left. Bennett Henderson charges, puts toe to leather. We're underway. Noon kickoff. Here in PA, kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. And we'll get a look at this Lehigh offense. And Evan, it's a Lehigh offense that is completely predicated on the ground attack, primarily with sophomore running back Luke Yoder.
Yeah, if you want to stop Lehigh, it's pretty simple. You got to go out there and stop the run, but doing that is not very simple, Lou. 28 points per game, that leads the Patriot League in scoring. And like I said, they do it all with the rush. 16 rush touchdowns, 183 rushing yards per game, both of those first in the Patriot League. This Fordham defensive line and linebacking core is going to have to come to play.
It's Dante Perry in the gun at quarterback, but he'll split snaps with freshman Hayden Johnson as he has all season long. It's the freshman Jaden Green in the backfield to his left. First snap, handoff Green, runs left, 25. Stiff arms Kemper up to the 30, 35, has the first down, knocked out of bounds. at the 40-yard line, and the freshman Jaden Green, a 15-yard carry to open this ball game.
Well, Jaden Green, like you said, Lou, kind of the backup. Luke Yoder, usually the guy you see in the starting role, but they've been kind of evening out carries. 10 carries last game for Green, only 14 for Yoder. So we're seeing a lot more heavy dosage of Jaden Green out here.
Jaden Green, his third start of the season, started the first two. Yoder then took the most recent 4. 1st and 10 from the Lehigh 42. Snap, handoff Green, runs left, cuts up, not a ton of space. And that's Trey Bradford flying in for the tackle. Fordham, or Evan rather, a very injured Fordham secondary at the safety position.
But like Coach Conlon said, they need guys that are prepared. A quote from him, we need guys like Trey Brad who know what they need to do and are always prepared. There you saw a guy that knew what play was coming before it started, making the hit almost in the backfield.
2-yard carry for Jaden Green, stays out there to the right of Perry. 2nd and 8 from the 44. Trips on the left side in a bunch formation. Snap, looks left, throws the left side screen, brought in by Jeffrey J. Meal. Right around the 44, 43-yard line. And we'll see whether or not that's a loss of yardage. Either way, Fordham had it covered up.
Well, massive play there by number 13, Niall Perkins, on that opposite sideline. 4 pass breakups last week versus Cross. That's what he's known for, but a major tackle right there for this Fordham D.
Loss of 1 and a long-distance yardage situation for Lehigh early here. 3rd and 9 from their own 43, 13-15 left in the first. Perry in the gun, Green to his left. 3 receivers down low, 1 up top. Fordham has 5 on the line. Snap, handoff Green, shoots up the middle, gets past the 45, not much after. And looks like Fordham in a pretty good spot to get the ball back here around midfield.
Absolutely, Lou. That's what they're going to have to be able to do all game on defense. That time on that 3rd down, everybody up in man press coverage. They only have Trey Bradford lone back in the safety spot. That allows them to stack the box, allows Jackson Barletta and John Scott to have guys around them to come up and rally to the run play. They'll force Lehigh to punt early.
No tackles on that first drive from James Conway. Will keep tabs on him. 8 shy of the Fordham record, 15 shy of the Patriot League record. Punts away from Connor Poole. Bounces at the Fordham 20, takes a roll inside. And downed at the 13-yard line. Nice punt for the freshman Connor Poole. And now we get a look at this Fordham offense. And Evan, it is a Fordham offense that was struggling to start the season, and now they are doubly struggling because of the struggles with the run game and specifically Julius Luffridge.
Coach Conlon said it well, Lou, quote unquote, we have to get Julius going. He's too good to have the numbers he had against Cross. So I asked him, what does it take to get that going? You heard it in the open. He said the offensive line has to run their feet at the point of attack, stretch the defense not only vertically but also horizontally, give some rushing lanes.
1st and 10 from the 13, 12-15 to play. Capaldi keeps it on the read option, runs right, gets back to the line of scrimmage, no gain.
Well, the read option with Jack Capaldi, a play they seem to be going to more and more, seeing his legs develop, seeing that he can use his legs to maybe help them out in the passing game, bring that defense up, Lou.
Capaldi, last week, 10 of 28, 199 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Empty. Throws left side, Luffridge at the 10-yard line, blows up a defender, surges forward to the 15, sent out of bounds. At the 17-yard line, Luffridge been at the 10, but he refused to go down, knocked the defender away.
That's big 15, Julius Luffridge right there. You want to get him the ball out in space so he can do things just like that. Knock smaller defenders on their backside and keep moving forward.
3rd down and 6. Well, they call it 3rd and 5 from the 18, 11:24 to play in the first. Capaldi the snap, looks left, forced out right, throws on the run. Luffridge drops it at the 15-yard line. And looks like these two offenses will trade punts to start this one.
Yeah, both defensive lines for both of these teams starting out really good here, Lou. That time getting Capaldi running left and right. He's a quarterback that's not too used to running, throwing off of his back foot the way maybe C.J. Montez is. Got the ball on Julius Luffridge, but there were multiple defenders coming up to make the tackle on the check down. A drop there, and Fordham will send out Will Hazlitt to punt.
It's a Fordham offense that really every statistical category has struggled, and you look to 2 weeks ago, their last time out, 16 points against Holy Cross. They held that offense to 19. Wasn't enough to get the victory on the road. Hazlitt sends his punt to Lehigh territory, brought in by Peltekian at the 38, up past midfield. wrapped up at the legs by Matt Buron. But Lehigh into Fordham territory on a nice return from the all-conference safety.
Yeah, nice return there from number 3, Nick Paltekian, junior, 6 foot, 210 pounds, 12 average. That time he got way more than 12. He's also got a touchdown on a punt return. So get used to hearing his name today. He'll be looking to bring one to the crib like he did earlier this season.
No score, 11:03 left in the first quarter. It's week 9 in the FCS, and you're listening to Fordham football on WFUV Sports. What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Nick Palmer.
Together, we're your New York Yankees reporters for the 2024 season, and we're bringing you coverage of the Bronx Bombers this year from the best beats in baseball.
Don't miss another Aaron Judge home run. Tune into our on-field interviews, live updates, and post-game analysis from every Yankees home game.
If the Yankees win, we'll be there. If they lose, we'll be there too. Don't forget to check out our bonus coverage from the Rose Hill studio. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
Fordham Lehigh Week 9 in the FCS, and Evan, a blow to one of our biggest storylines. James Conway, as it turns out, not dressed for today's game, so the chase for the Fordham and Patriot League tackles records have to push them back to a later week. Now, James Conway started the season injured, missed the first 5 games, returned against Lafayette, and Coach Conley, you heard it when we talked to him on Friday, they're going to give him 4 games because he can't play more than 4 games and still retain the injury red shirt. So James Conway, we think we're going to see him in 2 more games. Evidently, this is not one of those games.
Yeah, it makes you question, Lou, what games will it be? Are they picking out specific opponents? What's going on over here? But you'll see James Conway on this sideline, still an active member of the sideline without pads on, walking up and down, headbutting players without his helmet on, giving Nick Holly some words of advice right now. He never lets any of his teammates down, even when he can't get out there on the field. That goes to show why they want him to break that record so badly. Hopefully we see it this season, Lou.
Look for Mike Courtney, Jalen Dawson, Jackson Barletta to fill the void of Conway. Lehigh 1st and 10 from the 47. Handoff, Yoder takes it up the middle, spins off a tackle up to the 42-yard line. And there's the first carry for the sophomore Luke Yoder.
Yeah, finally a big one from Luke Yoder right there. Has scored in every single game so far this season. Leads the league with 9 rushing touchdowns. Pretty impressive. Hard to get this guy on the ground once he's got a full head of steam going.
Yoder stays out there. And Dante Perry still in the shotgun, but again, keep tabs on these Lehigh quarterbacks. They switch them out interchangeably between Perry and Hayden Johnson. Snap, play action. Perry to throw. It's incomplete. Wanted his tight end, Nick Williams. Kemper draped over him, knocks it away.
Alex Kemper, you'll remember him from that massive pick 6 he had against Stony Brook. That time, another really good play in the passing game. One of their better corners. They have 2 really good ones in him and Niall Perkins, making a good play on a vertical attempt.
The secondary for Fordham, it's Niall Perkins, Alex Kemper, the cornerbacks, Trey Bradford, and the freshman Drew Minnick getting the starts at safety with this banged-up safety core. 3rd down and 5 from the Fordham 42, 10:24 to play in the first quarter. Perry's in empty, 3 up top, 2 down low. Back to throw, over the middle, incomplete. Wanted Mason Humphrey over the middle. Pass looked to be a little bit off. And we'll see how aggressive Lehigh is here. 4th and 5 in Fordham territory.
Yeah, you wonder if they're going to go for it here. I'll see Luke Yoder running off the field. Looks like they'll send out the punting unit right now. Don't think this is within field goal range for them at this point, Lou, and they will. They'll send out their punting unit, try to pin Fordham back within that 20-yard line, possibly even within the 10 with the field position they have.
We talked about the Lehigh rushing attack, but the passing attack, a lot left to be desired. 157.7 passing yards per game. That's dead last in the Patriot League, and 100 out of 123 ranked FCS programs. Poole, the sky punt, bounces at the 10, and will roll inside. Fordham will start this drive from their own 9-yard line, and that is 2 excellent punts by the freshman Connor Poole not even 5 minutes into this one.
The freshman from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, hometown kid around here, a long of 56, 2 touchbacks on the season, 3, make that 4 after that one. Punts inside of the 20-yard line. He's been playing good, flipping the field position. For teams that run the ball well and play good defense, you need to also incorporate good special teams to have a solid, secure program. He's been helping them out do that. Connor Poole, the punter.
The Fordham offense trying to get going. Mentioned it a little bit, but yes, 2 weeks ago against Holy Cross, strong gusts of wind up to 30 miles per hour made passing difficult for both sides. But when that Fordham Ram team got such a great effort from their defense, holding a Holy Cross team to 19 points, it was the lowest total Holy Cross has had against a Patriot League opponent going back to 2018. So that's not an offense that gets held down like that often, and they just didn't get enough support from their offense.
Yeah, Coach Conlon let us know. He said 19 points on the road. That should be enough to win, pointing to his defense doing a good job, his offense not really doing enough, not enough execution to win that game offensively. It starts with the run game. Like we said, Julius Luffridge, 94 rush yards per game. That leads the Patriot League right now. But getting him going starts with that offensive line. Coach Conlon also told us, Lou, he likes how flexible they can be. He can put centers at guard. He said they purposely recruit people around 6'4", between there and 6'6", not too much taller than that, because they want to be able to put them inside if they need to.
Well, and we've seen some rotation on this offensive line. Senior Dylan Haynes making his second start at center. Cody Johnson, who had seen most of the reps at center, moves over to left guard. And it's Duke Leonard relegated to more of a rotational role. All of that both to spark a passing attack that struggled and a rushing game that has seen its production drop really in every game since the start of the season. And coming off a Week 7 game for Julius Luffridge where he rushes for a season-low 52 yards and 2.9 yards per carry, you wonder if the lack of threat on the passing side is starting to build here for this Fordham rushing game, because we've seen Luffridge have some phenomenal days.
Right, it has to. You're able to stack the box as a defense if you're not afraid of the other team's quarterback putting balls over the top of the defense. That's what other opposing defenses have been doing against Jack Capaldi and the Rams. You want to talk about flexibility on that offensive line. Cody Johnson, like you said, playing guard, playing center. He's played D-tackle for a season, recorded tackles against Nebraska for this team, and then going back to that offensive line. Dylan Haynes, Coach Conlon said he was playing so well in practice that they had to give him a shot in a game, saw him perform well, and he'll be back out there for the Rams today.
Fordham backed up here. 1st and 10 from their own 9-yard line. The snap at 10:09. The handoff to Luffridge. Sifts through the middle. Rolls past the 10-yard line, down at the 12, a gain of 3.
A gain of 3 there, but a good gain of 3. You like to see that hole open up if you're the Fordham offensive coordinator. Lets you know that you can run north and south. Huge for the offense. Lets you throw the ball outside, stretch out the defense.
No score through the first 5 minutes of play. Capaldi, handoff Luffridge, runs right, shrugs off one tackle, still up at the 15, past the 20, first down, dimes for the 25, and that is a classic Julius Luffridge run. Men at the line of scrimmage, picks up the first down.
Keeps going, doesn't matter who's hitting him, at what part of his body, he just shrugs off of tackles, and Fordham will hurry up, get right back to that line.
9:20 left in the first, Fordham moving quickly. 1st and 10 from the 25. Capaldi, play fake, quick throw, far side. Cole Thornton on the screen. Shoots past the 35-yard line up to the 40. Cole Thornton getting involved early. Fordham, second straight play with a first down.
Well, there's the perimeter game, Lou. That's really the first time this season we've seen the Fordham outside perimeter game be the way it was in their really good offensive seasons in 22 and 23.
Fordham moving very quickly here. Trips left, 1st and 10 from the 43. Handoff Luffridge right up the middle, head forward to midfield as he took a linebacker head on and picks up 7.
This is an example of staying ahead of the chains right here, Lou. Every single play gaining more yards than the last one. Every rushing play gaining more than the last rush. Staying on schedule as an offense, something they aren't used to so far this season.
The Rams, you go back to 2022, and that Tim DeMoran offense, they were known for moving the football quickly, running no huddle. 2nd down and 3, 8:20 to play in the first. As Fordham will slow things down a bit here, Capaldi changes up the play. Ball spotted at midfield. Snap, Capaldi looks left, looks middle, throws right over the middle. Head-high grab, Noden Tracy. Knocked down at the 32-yard line, but Fordham into Lehigh territory.
What a grab there from Noden Tracy, someone whose name we haven't heard as much as we expected this season. A really good freshman campaign. That's only his second catch on the season so far, but a big one to put the Rams close to the red zone.
A nice grab by the sophomore wide receiver. Fordham 1st and 10 at the Lehigh 33. 7:40 to go. Handoff Parks up the middle. Sifts through a few tacklers. Past the 30, down at the 26. Fordham picking up big chunks of yardage seemingly every play.
Ricky Parks, the Utah transfer that time, doing his part in the 1-2 punch of him, Julius Luffridge, gaining yards, staying ahead of the chains yet again.
Fordham looking to break open this scoreless ball game. 7:18 left to go in the first. 2nd and 3 from the Lehigh 26. Capaldi back to throw, fakes the throw left, steps up, end zone shot for Garrett Cody, over his head and out of bounds, incomplete.
Well, that time trying to go to their number 1 receiver, number 7, Garrett Cody. He's a grad receiver, been a part of this program for about 5 seasons now. You really want to get a guy like that going. You want a guy on the outside you could throw it to when you need a big gain. You need an X play in this game. That time unable to connect. Jack Capaldi letting that one get away from him, get out of bounds. We've seen that a lot on deep balls so far this season, Lou.
Chance for the Fordham offense, the Lehigh defense to reset after the incompletion. 3rd and 3, excuse me. Handoff Luffridge on the read option, swallowed up. 3 yards shy of the first down as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. But Fordham, one of the most aggressive teams in the nation. It looks like they are setting up Bennett Henderson for a field goal.
And Lou, last week in a very similar situation, almost the exact same yardage. 4th down and 3, 4th and 2, same position on the field against Cross. They elected to try a read option, didn't get the first down. That one came back to haunt them. Lost that one by 3 points. This time, Coach Conley looking to take the 3.
Henderson out for a 43-yarder, 3 for 3 on field goals with a long of 52 2 weeks ago. This one from the right hash. Snap the spot. Kick is on its way. It has the distance, and it's through the uprights. Bennett Henderson hits from 43. The Rams up 3-0 with 6:18 left in the first.
A missile of a kick there from Bennett Henderson. That one was flying point directed at the field goal post, splits the uprights at about 90 miles an hour, it looked like. But Bennett Henderson just continuing to add on to his really good freshman campaign, Lou.
The Rams take a 3-point lead on the 43-yarder from Bennett Henderson. 6:18 left in the first quarter. It's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Fordham football and WFUV Sports. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin. The Rams up 3-0 with 6:18 left in the first quarter after a 43-yard field goal from Bennett Henderson. But Evan, that is the best this Fordham offense has looked probably since C.J. Montez went down back in Week 3 against Stony Brook. Capaldi, 3 of 5, 40 yards, an 18-yard reception from Cole Thornton, a 17-yard reception from Noden Tracy, and that offense just moved the ball consistently.
They looked unrecognizable out there. This is an offense that's scored the least in the Patriot League, 16 points per game. That's a very low number, a number Fordham has not put up anywhere close to in the last 4 or 5 seasons, but that's what they got into doing in those seasons, staying ahead of the chains, never a penalty, never a sack, never these negative plays that cause you to fall off of schedule. Pretty much pushes you down the field and allows you to take 3 points there. Surprising there was no attempt to go for it there for a team that goes for it the most in the nation in Fordham.
Fordham has been very aggressive on 4th downs. Evan, we talked a lot 2 weeks ago about their decision to go for it. 4th and 2 towards the end of the first half against Holy Cross. They had a chance to send out Bennett Henderson, get the field goal, get the 2-score lead. We talked to Coach Conlon about it. He said he probably would do it again. Bennett Henderson will kick away after the field goal. End-over-end kick into the end zone, fielded by Green, goes to a knee. Touchback in Lehigh at the 25.
Back-to-back touchbacks kicked by Bennett Henderson there. Coach Conlon told us they needed to be a little bit better on kickoff, that Bennett was doing really good at place kicking, but he needed to get more touchbacks, needed to eliminate those balls going out of bounds, and he'll get a chest bump from the special teams coach running off the sideline, performing well so far to start this game.
The freshman kicker has had a really strong season now, 4 of 6 on field goals, has a really strong leg, has hit from 52 this year. A couple kicks have gone out of bounds. I think that's their big thing they're working with him so far. Dante Perry still in the shotgun. Got a fullback to his left and Jaden Green behind him. 6:18 left in the first. Lehigh trailing by 3. Handoff Green, runs left, but met quickly by Sam Burkle. Call it a gain of 1.
The Fordham defense swarming there. Multiple hats around the ball. That's what they're looking to do today against a team that's so predicated on breaking tackles, getting those extra 2 or 3 yards with their big bruising running backs.
Testament to Lehigh. Everyone knows they want to run the football, and they run the football a lot, but they still have success with it. Back-to-back games with 200-plus rushing yards, coming off a game where they had 250 in a loss to Yale. 2nd down and 8, 5:40 to play in the first. Snap, it's the reverse. Turns up at the 32-yard line, but he's tripped up. And that's Jameer Harden on the jet sweep.
And Matt Jaworski, the one to chirp him up, because who else? 10 tackles for loss. That's second in the Patriot League now. 14 QB hurries. That's first in the Patriot League. Yet still no sacks. But Coach Conlon said he makes a lot of massive plays, game-changing plays that just aren't falling under the sack column, still having such a major impact on this defense.
5-yard gain for the wide receiver Harden. This is 3rd and 3. Perry in the gun. Yoder to his right. A pair of receivers on either side. Motion out of the backfield now. Perry in an empty set. Goes back to throw. Fires it right side. This is Yoder on the curl route. Ahead of the first down. Around the 38. Lehigh moving the chains.
Well, Luke Yoder, knowing for running in between the tackles, diving into the end zone. That time they'll split him out wide, throw him a curl, and take the yards that the Fordham defense is giving them.
1st and 10. The Lehigh 37. Yoder now on the left side, one receiver either side. Jay Meal in the backfield. Perry the snap, hands off Yoder. Rolls off one tackle up to the 40-yard line, gain of 3.
Well, there he is again, number 36, Trey Bradford, a guy that's pretty much been on special teams ever since he's been here at Fordham, now getting a chance to play because the safety room is so beat up, and showing the coaching staff that he's someone they can trust. It doesn't matter how low they have to go in that depth chart. They get down to guys that know what they need to do to be a part of the culture of this program.
Trey Bradford, Drew Minnick, the starting safeties today for the Rams. 3:50 to go in the first. 2nd down and 6. Perry gives a couple signals, but no snap yet. Now takes the snap. Handoff Yoder, running right, has the first down, gets to midfield. He's flipped over by Trey Bradford. They gave Yoder a lane, and he took it.
Yeah, those are the scary holes for a defense. You never want to see a hole open up and it be a one-on-one situation, especially when it's Luke Yoder. That time, Trey Bradford yet again doing a good job with an open field tackle. But that's a positive for the Lehigh offense right there, splitting the tackles, getting upfield for a big gain, moving the chains.
3 tackles today. In the early going for Trey Bradford, leads the Rams. 3:05 to play. In the first quarter, it's Lehigh in Fordham territory at the 49. Perry the snap, handoff, Yoder running right once again, up to the 45, a gain of 4.
Well, for this Lehigh offense, Lou, it almost seems like it's 5 yards every time you hand the ball off. It's going to be 3 or 4 before the ball carrier even gets touched by a Fordham Ram defender. This offensive line doing a really good job of giving their good running back space to work.
Yeah, Yoder averaging 6.2 per attempt. Now Jaden Green comes in, and he's been a nice change of pace back for Lehigh. Help them have success in the run game. 2nd and 5, 2:25 to play in the first. Handoff Green, runs left, has the first down, and breaking through. One man left to beat, he's going to get there. Touchdown! 44-yard run for Jaden Green, and just like that, Lehigh's taken the lead.
Jaden Green, the backup running back, getting his 5th touchdown on the season. That goes to show how good this team is at running the ball. When you can gash a defense with 5 yards per carry pretty much every time you hand it off, you're destined to eventually make that last defender miss the tackle, get 6 points. But they'll be going for, looks like 2 points here, Lou, and then they'll switch it back until that extra point look.
Yeah, looks like the swinging gate, and we've seen a few teams this season have that be their default set for extra points. For Jaden Green, that's a season-long 44-yard run, and he gets the touchdown. Extra point from Nick Garrido through the uprights. Lehigh ahead, 7-3 with 2:17 to play. You enter this game from a defensive mindset, and most of your focus goes to Luke Yoder, a Jerry Rice Award finalist last year as a freshman, worked into the starting role, has been the clear-cut starting running back this year for the Mountain Hawks. But you can't sleep on Jaden Green as he gets the 5th touchdown of his freshman campaign. That leads all Patriot League freshmen. He's been phenomenal this season.
And it's all starting with the big fellas up front. Right guard on that play, Langston Jones, someone who Coach Conlon told me and Lou is about as good as a lineman you'll see in this league, was the one to open up that hole, sending his running backs through so many times, getting untouched. Like I said earlier, it just leaves so much room for Fordham to have to make open field tackles. Eventually, you're going to break off a big one and score some rushing touchdowns. This team's used to that. That's their 17th rushing touchdown on the season.
Lehigh helped a little bit by the fact that they got a couple key O-linemen back this season. Their center, George Patazon, missed almost every game last season. So did their left tackle, Aiden Palmer. They get both of them back. They work Austin Huff into the left guard spot. But Langston Jones, that's the key on the line, and that's the guy that opened up the hole for the freshman Jaden Green. Nick Garrido will kick away. Bounces at the 10-yard line. Reed scoops it up on the kick return. Speeds past the 20, tripped up, and down around the 23, 24-yard line. That was an interesting one. I think KJ Reed maybe lost that in the sun a bit, and also just a short kick for Garrido.
Yeah, KJ Reed doing the baseball outfielder, shielding the sun with his offhand, trying to come in and play that ball off of a bounce. Really scary for a team when you see a ball bouncing around there on a kickoff. That's anyone's ball once it passes 10 yards. But a good job by a really good athlete in KJ Reed to pick up that ball, get forward, and actually have a decent return for the Rams, set them up past the 20.
2:12 left in the first quarter. Fordham got on the board with a field goal. Lehigh quickly responds with a touchdown at 7-3, and the Rams now back on offense. Trips left, play fake. Capaldi throws to the right side. Incomplete. Wanted Garrett Cody. The ball falls out.
And that's a good play by this Lehigh defense, able to come up on the perimeter game. Coach Conlon told us it's so important to get the perimeter game going because it stretches the defense east to west, allows Julius to work north and south, and these receivers to have a big game as well. They got it going earlier with Cole Thornton, not able to get it done with Garrett Cody on that play.
And that was the senior Jordan Adderley on the pass breakup. This time they hand off. Luffridge runs right, turns up at the 20-yard line, and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Tried to take that one wide. Just not a ton of space out there.
Yeah, great job of pursuit by the Lehigh defense. Everyone getting to that football, forcing it, funneling it towards the sideline, and Julius Luffridge has to run out of bounds or run into 6 or 7 defenders.
That give him a gain of 2. It's 3rd and 8 from the 24. The clock ticks under 2 minutes in the first quarter. Capaldi has 2 receivers either side. Luffridge motions left and gets the throw out of the backfield. It's incomplete, and they will say incomplete instead of a backwards pass. That's the second time today Luffridge has had a chance in the backfield to make a reception and just threw the hands.
Yeah, if you want to count the Garrett Cody catch as a drop as well, which I'm sure he would count for himself as a drop, that's 3 already on the day for a team that's had drop issues all season long. A lot of times getting a first down if the receiver would just catch the ball that Jack Capaldi puts on his numbers. It's been a major issue for them. Coach Conlon said they have to focus more on eye level, looking the ball into the catch before trying to turn upfield.
Evan knows a thing or two about catching football, spent a couple of years as a wide receiver in the Fordham football program. Hazlitt, punt bounces at the 42, takes the Fordham roll out of bounds around the 25, 26-yard line.
Will Hazlitt yet again flipping the field for the Rams. He'll set up Lehigh with some poor field position offensively. They'll have to go a long way. He's been doing that all season. 14 punts inside of the 20-yard line, first in the Patriot League. 9 punts of 50-plus, first in the Patriot League, long of 64, second in the Patriot League. So doing a good job in the field position battle, helping out this Fordham defense that needs all the help it can get.
I know it's ironic to sing the praises of the punter on an 0-7 college football team, but you are not joking when you say that Will Haslett has been the best punter in the Patriot League, and up until recently, it's been by a wide margin. Offense takes over. This is still Perry in the gun, 1st and 10 from the 27, a minute 34 to play in the first. Takes the snap, keeps it on the right side, up to the 30-yard line, forced out of bounds by Kemper. They see gain of 3 by Dante Perry.
On that play, you could see the effects of Lehigh running the ball north and south so effectively. They're able to pull the read option. The cornerback, Alex Kemper, is where a typical defensive end would be, all the way in that backfield. Perry's able to escape around him, get up the sideline for a decent gain.
And you have to imagine when Jaden Green and Luke Yoder have the type of production that they've been having, makes those read options really dangerous because you have to lock in on the running backs. 2 backs in the backfield, Green behind Perry, a fullback to his right. 2nd down and 6, a minute to play. Handoff Green, takes it right. Surges past the 40-yard line, still on his feet as he shrugs a tackle past midfield, weaving forward, and brought down ahead of the Fordham 35. Jaden Green breaking another big one.
Been Jaden Green all day today. Hasn't had a negative rushing play pretty much for the entirety of the game so far. That time a big one. He'll break it off, put Lafayette in scoring territory.
Green gets a much-earned rest. It's Luke Yoder to come on with just 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Clock continues to tick. Lehigh already up by 4 and quickly driving back into Fordham territory. Take the snap from the 33. Yoder to the right of Perry. Perry the snap at 14 seconds. Handoff Yoder, runs left, spins off a 1 tackle up past the 30. Now brought down at the 28-yard line as the clock ticks out in our first quarter. But Evan, Fordham's had chances to make tackles around the line of scrimmage. Easier said than done.
And on the earlier drives, Lou, we saw Fordham able to make those tackles. Trey Bradford, a bunch of open field tackles. Matt Jaworski doing that as well. Now in these last 2 drives, last drive where Lehigh had that big rushing touchdown, and now to start out this one, it's been a different story. Running backs having 3 or 4 tackle breaks before they eventually get taken to the ground.
1 quarter in the books. Lehigh 7, Fordham 3. Back to the Rose Hill Studios. Joe Henry, the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
The sports equinox is in full bloom. The World Series kicked off last night in thrilling fashion. Freddie Freeman hit the first walk-off grand slam in World Series history as the Dodgers took a 6-3 win in 10 innings over the Yankees. Game 2 is tonight. It's Carlos Rodon towing the rubber for the Yanks and Yoshinobu Yamamoto for LA. First pitch at 8:08 from Dodger Stadium. Moving over to the gridiron, it's number 12 Notre Dame traveling to MetLife Stadium to face number 24 Navy. In the first quarter, it's Fighting Irish 7, Navy 0. At 3:30, number 21 Missouri will pay a visit to Tuscaloosa for a bout with number 15 Alabama. And on the ice, the Rangers will play host to the Anaheim Ducks with puck drop at 7 p.m. The Isles, meanwhile, have got the Florida Panthers coming to town. That one will start at 7:30. And on the hardwood, no New York teams in action tonight, but still a solid slate of matchups, headlined by a Western Conference slugfest. It's the Mavericks going to Phoenix for a date with the Suns, tip-off at 10 p.m. With your scoreboard updates, I'm Joe Henry.
Blue Orlando, Evan Harkin. It's Lehigh, a 7-3 lead after 1 quarter of play, and very quickly you see why this Lehigh rushing attack is so dangerous. Evan, this is a first quarter stat. Jaden Green, 6 carries, 104 yards. He's already up over 100 for the day. They've got 142 total, so awfully close to getting their 3rd straight game of 200-plus rushing yards, and this is in the first quarter. Fordham has their work cut out for them.
And another negative sign for that, if you're the Fordham defense, is typically when you can run the ball like this, it bruises a defense. It wears them down throughout the game. So like we saw in the Holy Cross game, once you get to that 4th quarter, usually the defense is pretty tired. That offensive line is still rumbling. And those rushing plays that we're seeing in the first quarter go for touchdowns might be going for touchdowns then too. So if you're the Fordham defense, Lou, you got to keep stacking the box, even though that's what they're doing. Shed blocks up front, get hats to the ball. You're not able to take down these really good backs with one player. Got to get 2 or 3 there at this point.
Fordham broke our scoreless tie halfway through the first quarter with a really strong drive. Ended in a 43-yard field goal for Bennett Henderson. But Lehigh immediately responded, a 44-yard touchdown for Jaden Green. And as we pick this one back up, it's a 36-yard run by Green that has taken Lehigh once again deep into Fordham territory at the 28. We talked about this rushing attack at the start of the broadcast and ringing true just how dangerous they are.
And you really got to make Lehigh pass if you want to affect them defensively. 157 passing yards a game. That's last in the Patriot League.
Lehigh, as reason would have it, does not want to pass all that much with the pair of backs they have. 2nd down and 5. First play in the second quarter. Perry stays out there. Takes the snap. Hands off Yoder. Running left. Has the first down with a strong downhill carry up to the 23-yard line.
That time, John Scott with a good hit. It's just 3 or 4 yards down the field. He's celebrating that as it was a good tackle. But the Fordham Rams defense cannot be content with just eating 3 and 4 yard gains as the Lehigh offense charges down the field.
Lehigh already up by 4, looking to add. 1st and 10 from the 23. Pair of receivers down low. Yoder the back to Perry's left. Snap. Handoff Yoder running right. This time no space. Runs into a wall. And Matt Jaworski there. A few other massive Fordham defensive linemen in the mix, and Yoder sent firmly to the ground.
I mentioned the Rams D has to get the big fellas out there. They have to stack the box. No one better to do that than 320-pound nose tackle Cloudy Robinson. That time pushes the offensive lineman into Yoder, forcing him to tackle his own player. Good job of getting the right personnel out there on the field for the situation by this Fordham defense.
Yoder off, Green in, and Green's been the more productive back through 1 quarter of play. 2nd and 10, opening minute and 15 of the second quarter. Play fake, Perry tucks it, rolling right, throws on the run, it's incomplete. Wanted the freshman Logan Galetta on a curl route, underthrew him.
And who's out there for the QB hurry for the Rams? None other than Matt Jaworski, because he seems to do it every single time. And offense is back to pass, making Perry rush that throw it into the grass. Alex Kemper right there for the play too. Good play there from the Fordham defense.
And if Jaworski does get credit for that, that would be his 15th quarterback hurry of the season, which would give him the Patriot League lead by 5, and that's without any sacks on the season. He's still been phenomenal. 3rd down and 10, 13:38 left in the second quarter. Green the back to Perry's right. Perry drops back to throw. The near side screen. Kemper blows it up. And did he pick the football off? What's the call? It was a screen pass. Looked like the ball popped up in the air after Kemper laid a huge hit on the far side.
Referees gathering together. The ball seemed to be rolling around the bodies of both Kemper and the intended receiver. They'll now call it incomplete.
Well, Dante Perry quickly turned and tried to do the far side screen to his junior wide receiver, Jeffrey J. Meal. Alex Kemper could not have been more over that.
Must have seen it before it was coming all over the football, like you said. It looked like it was rolling on top of their bodies. Definitely seemed like it could have been an interception. The Fordham defense wanted that one, but Lehigh will go for 3 points here.
Here's the junior Nick Garrido out for a 40-yard field goal, but hold your horses a little bit. The referees are going to review this one, and Evan, there is a chance that that ball never touched the ground, and I don't know, at least from my vantage point, it looked like Jameel had the football. It popped up, got bobbled and juggled around a little bit, and then Kemper just yanked it away.
Right, Kemper and Jameel both at the catch point together. There seemed to be 4 hands on the football at that point. No one really ripping it down, and then we see the football visibly on top of both of them, not on the ground. Alex Kemper quick to rip it out once he sees it on top of both of them, gets possession of it, shows it to the referee, who will now be gathering together to review this. This will be a huge interception if it's going the other way, pretty much negating 3 points for Lehigh and sending the Fordham offense back out there to try to score, Lou.
Lehigh theoretically in field goal range, 40-yard kick it would be for Nick Garrido. He's made just one 40-yarder in his collegiate career, along a 41. But he is 1 for 5 on 40-plus yard field goals in his collegiate career, so that is not a gimme by any means. Fordham would certainly like to not even entertain the possibility and just get the takeaway. But as the referees trot back out there, looks like the call on the field stands.
And Garrido hit a 36-yarder versus Yale last week, so kind of getting used to hitting from this range. We'll see if he's able to connect.
This would be looking by the spot of the holder. Looks like this should be 39. Snap, spot, kick is on its way. And through the uprights. Lehigh a 10-3 lead. They're up by a touchdown with 13:25 to play in the half.
And a great kick there from Garrido, 5'8 junior from Easton, Pennsylvania, Lou. That looked like it could have been good for another 12, 15 more yards after that. Way over the uprights and through.
Well, Nick Garrido nails the field goal, now 2 of 3 on field goals to open this season, and Lehigh has the full 7-point lead in a Fordham offense that had that one really brilliant drive. The other two, not so much.
Right, and on that brilliant drive, we saw no drops, no negative plays, none of these things that Coach Conlon told us puts the team behind schedule, forces them to have to throw the ball. That's not what they want to do out here. They want to give it to big number 15, Julius Luffridge, and let him work. Let Ricky Parks go down there and work the field position game. They're going to have to get the offensive line running their feet, in the words of Coach Conlon, to get all of that going.
Evan, I want to go back to the defense just a little bit. That was a drive where Lehigh, most of it, felt like they moved with ease, using the rushing game as we've seen. They get up to the 23-yard line, and all of a sudden, Fordham forces the stops. It starts with that rush of no gain for Luke Yoder. They force him on the near side. What did you see from Fordham in that stand defensively? Felt like they completely changed the pace.
Well, Cloudy Robinson, like I said, came in and stopped the run, exactly what he's on the football field to do at 320 pounds. What does that do? Forces a team that's bad at passing, it leads the Patriot League in interceptions right now. 2 pass the ball. They then have to pass on back-to-back downs. 2 incompletions, almost an interception. That's the formula Fordham should look to repeat all game. Stop the run on first down, make them pass on second and third down, and that should be all she wrote for Fordham getting their offense back on the field. This Lehigh offense does not want to pass the football at all.
The live stats are crediting Nick Garrido with a 41-yard field goal. I'm not sure about that measurement.
Would have been good from 41, but not sure if
would have been
it
good.
Was good from 41.
Would have been good from probably more than 41, but Garrido, at least for the moment, according to the box score, has tied his career long for field goals. Lehigh up 10-3, 13:25 to play. And this will be the freshman John Zipf to kick away. Kicks away on the near side. Reed Fields from the near side 5. Takes it along the numbers. Past the 20. Out of bounds. Shy of the 25-yard line. As Jackson Dowd finally catches up.
Fordham playing well on special teams so far today. We've seen a lot of Mason Hatfield earlier on in this season. Wasn't really getting it done. They'll send KJ Reed out there to return kicks. He's doing a better job getting them up past the 20-yard line so far here today multiple times.
Fordham taking on a Lehigh defense that has been very strong against the passing attack. They're led by all-conference linebacker Mike DiNucci, all-conference free safety Nick Peltekian. 1st and 10 from the 25, 13:21 to play in the half. Play fake. Capaldi throws middle. It's intercepted off the hands of Tracy. The sliding grab, DJ Brown. And just like that, Lehigh gets the football back.
Well, get the ball right back for your offense. Why don't you, Lehigh? That time the ball tipped off of KJ Reed's hands. Lehigh able to snatch it out of the air and go back the other way. Huge for the momentum in this ball game.
Well, Adderley shadowing Noden Tracy. Knock that ball up in the air. And the safety, DJ Brown, right there to slide under it. And when you're a Fordham offense that's been struggling, you're already trailing by 7. You just can't make mistakes like that. And we have seen Jack Capaldi have poor luck with the interceptions. That's now his 5th of the season.
Jordan Adderley on the other side for Lehigh, making his presence felt. He's a Sacred Heart transfer, played 9 games over 2 seasons over there at Hart. He'll get his first interception over here in Brown for Lehigh.
The offense takes back over in Fordham territory at the 46. Perry the snap. Handoff Green. Breaks through 1 tackle up to the 40-yard line. And Jaden Green strong running to pick up 6.
Getting to the second level with ease. Every single running back on this Lehigh offense so far able to just keep working downfield. That'll be another gain of 5 in the run game.
That's what the Lehigh rushing attack is known for. Strong downhill running, breaking through tackles, and they've displayed that through the first quarter plus. 12:40 left to go in the half. 2nd down and 4, trips left. Perry, play fake, throws left side. The reception by Garetta takes it up past the 30-yard line and gets the first.
Logan Galetta, 4th reception on the season. That's a Boston College transfer right there. Deferred eligibility from there, so never earned any time on the field, but actually played defensive back for them, coming over playing receiver here at Lehigh.
Didn't record a reception last week, but he did make his first start of his collegiate career. Gets the reception and the first down on that play. 1st and 10 from the 29, 12 minutes to play in the second quarter. Perry, handoff Green, has a lane but tripped up. Jalen Dawson makes the tackle after a gain of 4, and Jalen Dawson getting the start in place of James Conway, not dressed today.
And Jaden Green for the Mountain Hawks, picking up right where he left off last week against Yale. 10 attempts, 60 yards, and a touchdown. 2 touchdowns and a win over Princeton earlier on in the season. He's their 2nd string running back, but really they kind of split time. Him and Luke Yoder, a dominant 1-2 punch.
Easy to see why this rushing attack has flourished in recent weeks. 2nd down and 6. Lehigh ahead 10-3 with 11:18 left in the first half. Perry, the handoff Green up the middle, taking contact, spinning forward, up a yard short of the first down at the 21.
Also an 100-meter record holder in high school, Jaden Green. We got to see some of that breakaway speed earlier on today. Football players will tell you there's a difference between track speed and football speed. We got to see it from number 0. Maybe see it later on today as he's been gashing the Fordham defense so far.
Jaden Green comes out. It's Luke Yoder on for the 3rd and 1 snap. Perry in the gun. Yoder to his right. 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. Snap. Handoff Yoder. Up the middle. Shakes off 1 tackle. Still going at the 10-yard line. Eyeing the end zone. He's brought down inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. But Luke Yoder would appear to just be a halfback dive up the middle. Breaks it big.
And Luke Yoder wants his touchdown now in this game. Jaden Green already getting one. Luke Yoder wants to add to his stat where he scored every single game so far this season. Wants to make it 10 here today. He's on the doorstep of the end zone right now.
9 touchdowns for Yoder. 9 rushing touchdowns, that is. Leads the Patriot League 12th in the FCS. Yoder stands to the left of Perry. 1st and goal from the 9. Under 10 to play in the first half. Perry the snap, back to throw, looks right, throws right into the end zone, leaping grab, Humphrey. A flag flies, they call it a touchdown. We'll check on the dirty laundry for the moment. A leaping touchdown by the sophomore Mason Humphrey.
Well, that flag's going to be offensive pass interference. We'll hear it now from the referee, Lou. Just a massive push there from Humphrey as he got off the ball, sending Alex Kemper about 5 yards back. The referee will throw the flag right away, right into both of their faces, and that play will actually be a negative play for Lehigh's offense instead of a touchdown.
Mason Humphrey, 6'4", 210 pounds, and fast. This is, I know their leading receiver back-to-back years has been Jeffrey J. Meal. Mason Humphrey might be their best athlete in the wide receiver room, and unfortunately, he just gets a little too handsy.
Yeah, all-state receiver in the state of Georgia, also a basketball state champion with that massive frame. At 6'4", 210, you shouldn't have to push opposing cornerbacks to be able to make your own space.
It's a massive penalty. 1st and goal from the 24, Lehigh. Now, 24 yards away from the end zone. Handoff Yoder. No, it's kept by Dante Perry, and that was a mistake. Matt Jaworski a tackle for loss. at the 28-29 yard line.
We'll make that 12 TFLs. He'll take the record back as the TFL leader in the Patriot League with that one. Matt Jaworski spinning around Dante Perry to the ground. Seems to be around the ball every single time there's a tackle.
Matt Jaworski, let's try that again. Matt Jaworski making the play off the near side edge, and on the read option where it looked like Yoder had space up the middle, Perry keeps it and Jaworski all over it. 2nd and goal from the 26, a loss of 2. 9 minutes left to play in the half. Perry the snap, back to throw again. It's Yoder out of the backfield at the 31 on the far side. Chops the feet, cuts up inside the 20, inside the 15, brought down. Right around the 13-yard line. They'll spot the ball at the 15, but Luke Yoder makes this a very interesting 3rd and goal.
And what a cut there from Yoder. Really made all those yards for himself, had multiple Rams defenders bracketed around him, ready to make a tackle. Just a swifty cut right back inside, gains 10 more yards, and he'll get hit out of bounds.
8:35 left to play in the half. Lehigh up 10-3. The Mason Humphrey offensive pass interference moved them back. So this is 3rd and goal from the 15-yard line. Wide receiver bunch on the left side. Perry back to throw again. Looks right, throws right. He wants Humphrey. It's incomplete. And a flag. This time, think that's going to be going against the defense, Alex Kemper. So both sides trading pass interference penalties.
Yeah, Alex Kemper visibly upset when he saw both flags fly at him. That time had his head turned. Didn't seem like he got the head back to the ball, Lou. Seems to be the big thing. But Mason Humphrey seems to be down by the back pylon over there, kicking and holding his head in pain. You hope he's okay.
The pass interference by Kemper will gift Lehigh a 1st down and give them a few snaps inside the 5. They're still attending to Mason Humphrey, the back pylon on the far side. And we'll take a break. Lehigh up 10-3, knocking on the door of the end zone. When we come back, it's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hey guys, Grace McCarran here with Jack Warner.
And we're 2 of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's one and only baseball podcast.
We'll keep you in the loop on all tri-state news with the Yankees and Mets,
as well as the biggest headlines from around the MLB.
Catch weekly episodes of Nosebleeds on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases with Nosebleeds on WFUV Sports.
Blue Orlando, Evan Harkin, Lehigh leads the Fordham Rams 10-3 with 8:13 to play in the first half. And Evan, you get gifted an offensive pass interference that gives you 1st and goal from the 24-yard line. It's really tough to allow a touchdown in that situation, but they're going to be awfully close to doing so. Lehigh 1st and goal from the 2 after the pass interference from Alex Kemper. And you get into this spot because of the 11-yard reception from Luke Yoder. Shrugs a couple tackles off around the line of scrimmage. Makes it an interesting 3rd down where they can take the end zone shot and they get the flags.
Right, just can't happen if you're the Fordham defense. You're playing a really good team with dynamic playmakers in Yoder, in their receivers, in Mason Humphrey, who went down on that play, was able to get up on his own power and walk off. But like you said, knocking on the doorstep now where the Mountain Hawks, despite all of that nonsense, right before they went to huddle, they sent Matt Maholick out there, their quarterback they like to run the ball with, strictly a rushing quarterback for them, especially in this situation down on the 2-yard line. We'll see if they send him back out there to rush this one through the end zone.
I mean, it's a game of guess who for who's going to get the ball 2 yards away from the end zone. You have Luke Yoder, a Patriot League leading 9 rushing touchdowns. Jaden Green, the backup running back, has 5. And then your 3rd-string quarterback, a freshman, Matt Maholick, has 2 rushing touchdowns as well. See what they send out here. Maholick in the gun. And And this might be a modified wildcat formation as Mahalik will take the direct snap. He's got the tight end, Nick Williams, about a step in front of him to his right, and then a pair of receivers to his left. So it looks like they're going to run with Matt Mahalik here. Fordham stacks the line. First and goal from the 2. Lehigh looking to add to a 7-point lead. Mahalik takes the snap, runs right, met at the 2-yard line, dives into the end zone, touchdown Lehigh. Lehigh leaps ahead by 2 scores, and it's the 3rd touchdown for the freshman quarterback, Matt Mahalik.
And they knew exactly what was coming, Lou. You knew Mahalik was going to run that ball himself. He's their guy. Just can't stop it once they're already at the 2-yard line. The simple yet hard answer for doing that is don't allow them to get to the 2-yard line when it's 1st and 24. But Lehigh dominating physically, able to force their will on this Fordham defense in the run game.
Fordham has had little answer for the Lehigh ground attack. Garrido on for the extra point. Kick on its way and good. Lehigh ahead 17-3. Fordham led 3-0 about halfway through the first quarter. 17 unanswered by the Mountain Hawks. Just like that, Lehigh up 14.
Fordham in a familiar spot, Lou, where you're now chasing in the game for a team that we said earlier, let's get the running game going if you're Fordham. Get number 15 the ball. It's hard to do that when you're down multiple scores. You're now fighting not only the Mountain Hawks defense, you're fighting the clock. What do you have to do at that point? Pass the ball. Fordham, one of the worst passing offenses in the league, second worst only to this Mountain Hawks offense at passing the ball. So having Jack Capaldi throw it all over the yard, not something they've been good at, not something they want to do, something they're going to have to do now down this far in the game.
Lehigh picks off Capaldi, DJ Brown the interception. They drive down the field. They get the touchdown from Matt Mahalik. They're up by 14. It's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hey, it's Chaz McAdams here calling you to tune in to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. With hot takes covering all sports from the 5 boroughs and beyond, to interviews with some of the biggest names in sports media. We're live Saturdays on the WFUV Sports YouTube from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Come join us next Saturday for One-on-One.
Blue Orlando, Evan Harkin, Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV. 17 unanswered by the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. They're up 17-3. They get the touchdown after the interception from Jack Capaldi in a Fordham offense that has gone punt, field goal, punt, interception. Going to need to get things going, and I think emphasis on need. I know it's halfway through the first half. This game can get very quickly away from you, especially the rushing attack from Lehigh, if you don't have a response soon.
Usually Fordham not needing to score as much as they are right now because they're usually not playing this good of an offense, Lou. Top scoring offense in the Patriot League, 28 points per game. You're going to have to keep up. Your defense can be good. It doesn't matter. They're going to score points. The offense has to go out there and score as well. Look for the offense to try to get the perimeter game going. That's when you're throwing screen passes out to the receivers who are blocking for each other, trying to get something going on the outsides because they really haven't been able to move the ball north and south in between the tackles so far.
Fordham offense, 32 rushing yards, 40 receiving yards for a grand total of 72 total on the day through one half. Lehigh's coming up with 200 total yards, 8 minutes left in the first half. The kick away, end over end. Reed in the end zone decides to take it out along the near side hash. Speeds past the 15, 20, 25-yard line. He's out of bounds. Not a bad return there by the sophomore KJ Reed as Fordham phasing out Mason Hatfield. They're setting Noden Tracy and KJ Reed back there.
And that time, KJ Reed almost able to turn that corner. If there was another 2 or 3 yards before he reached the sideline, would have been able to straighten it out and take that one down the hash marks to the end zone. KJ Reed doing a good job of coming in and elevating this Fordham kick return unit that desperately needed that.
Fordham starts their drive from the 25. 8:04 left in the half, and they're trailing 14, looking for a response. Capaldi the snap. Handoff Luffridge, runs left, breaks one, breaks another, dragging a defender to the 32, 33-yard line. Strong first run for Luffridge. He picks up 8.
Exactly what this Fordham offense was looking for. Get Julius Luffridge going downfield and rumbling in between tacklers.
Wide receiver stacks on either side, 2nd and 2. 7:40 left in our second quarter. Snap. Capaldi quickly looks to the near side. It's dropped by Mekhi Felton. Right at his waist, just puts it on the ground. And Evan, the drops have been a theme all season long for this receiving core. And that one, again, just inexplicable.
Going to the perimeter game, like I said, like I expected. If you're going to drop perimeter screen passes, it's kind of hard to move the ball downfield as an offense.
Capaldi and empty. 3 up top, 2 down low. It's 3rd and 2. Looks left again. Throws left side. Slide and grab. Cole Thornton has the distance for the first down at the 36.
Big grab there from Cole Thornton. Just a first down, but really more than that in the grand scheme of things. If you have to send Will Hazlitt out there to punt down 17-3, it's a totally different ball game than moving downfield right now.
7:13 left in the first half. Fordham trails by 14. Play action. Capaldi steps up to run right up the middle, and there's no space. Luffridge will push him from behind to try and pick up a few, and Capaldi is able to up to the 39.
Fordham running this quick game offense, going back to the perimeter plays 3 times in a row. That time the Mountain Hawk defense ready for it. All of their defensive backs up in the face of the receivers ready to catch the ball. Capaldi looked for 1 second and knew right away he had to get running on his own because nobody was open.
2-yard rush for Capaldi, 2nd and 8. Pair of receivers up top. 1 down low, that's Cole Thornton. Handoff, Luffridge runs right, now cuts up, he breaks 2 tackles, speeds past midfield, stiff-arming a man to the 40-yard line. Julius Luffridge does it himself, takes Fordham into Lehigh territory.
Second time on this drive, Julius Luffridge threatening 1 tackle away from getting into the end zone. That's what we saw earlier on from Yoder in that rushing core from Lehigh. Expect Fordham to keep going back to that, trying to break one off in the end.
That was a big man stiff arm by Luffridge to get up to the Lehigh 40. 1st and 10, a pair of receivers either side. Ricky Parks in the backfield to the right. Snap, handoff to Parks. Head forward up the middle, picks up 2.
Ricky Parks, a key part of this offense. Coach Conlon let us know it was huge to get him back from that injury he suffered last season. A massive deal to be able to have a 1-2 punch, get Julius Luffridge some rest. As I say that, Ricky Parks down on his backside, grabbing at his knees. Similar to the injury he had last season, you hope he gets up quickly.
Parks played in just 1 game last season, broke his wrist, but shined against Albany. 4 rushes, 33 yards, 8.2 per attempt. He's been less explosive this year, as this appearing in his 7th game of the season, but came in a 4-star running back committed to Utah, was the 14th ranked running back in the nation, has been bogged down a bit by injuries. He's down on the ground, and will take an injury timeout. Lehigh leads Fordham 17-3 with 5.5 to play. Fordham trying to drive into Lehigh territory. It's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
How's it going, everyone? Will Talent here, your New York Giants beat reporter for the 2024 season. Follow alongside me at talent_Will on X to catch all of the updates on your New York Football Giants from MetLife Stadium. With rookie sensation Malik Neighbors and big free agent acquisition Brian Burns, WFUV Sports is the place for Big Blue coverage. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Fordham football and WFUV Sports. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin. Ricky Parks able to get to the sidelines after the injury timeout. It's 2nd and 7, 5:38 to play. Handoff, Jack Kaiser burrows forward and lunges at the 35, picks up 2 to set up a 3rd and manageable.
We'll expect to see more of Jack Kaiser as Ricky Parks is being helped into the medical tent right now. Kaiser, a junior from Somers, New York, that's known for getting into the end zone, known for being a goal line running back.
Capaldi and empty. It's Luffridge on the far slot. Looks right. Capaldi throws. It's Cole Thornton at the 32. Goes out of bounds. He'll be a few yards shy of the first down. Maybe in field goal range for Bennett Henderson, but you think the offense stays out here.
Yeah, you would think you leave the offense out, especially they're rolling right now, Lou, looking about as good as they have all game, aside from that first drive, second drive by the offense, doing the little things right, getting the rush going north and south, and doing a good job with these short routes, which we haven't seen so far.
4th down and 2, Capaldi and empty. He's got Luffridge on the near side. Trips down there with Buron, Thornton, and Luffridge. Up top, it's Garrett Cody, Mackay Felton. 4:40 to play in the half. Fordham trailing 17-3. Blitz coming from Lehigh. The near side screen, Luffridge at the 35. Trying to get to the first down. He's short. 2 yards shy of the first down. Fordham threw that one 5 yards behind the marker. And Evan, I'm not one to question a play call, but that's a tough task for Luffridge.
Right. When you only need 2 yards, it's tough to then make that 7 yards. Really makes no sense unless you're going to force him, get him outside. That time he's unable to get outside. The cornerbacks for Lehigh doing a good job of containing, and it'll be going the other way. Lehigh has the football here.
Fordham trying to argue that they picked up the first down. The referees rule them 1.5 yards short. Lehigh takes over with 4:30 to play in the half. The turnover on downs. A Fordham offense that the 20-yard run by Luffridge took them into Lehigh Terry, but outside of that, not much to speak of in that drive once again.
And the second straight game, we're going for it on 4th down. Instead of taking the points, looks pretty bad. Like we said, you kind of have to with how down they are already in this game. But you really got to convert 4th and 2s, especially if you're not that good of an offense.
It would have been a 50-yarder on the dot for Henderson, but he's hit from 52 this season. Lehigh offense back out there. This is the freshman Hayden Johnson. Throws on the run. It's dropped on the far side.
Matt Jaworski with a huge hit on the quarterback right there, letting him know afterwards. A good throw, just unable to get the connection going. It'll be 2nd and 10 here. Exactly what the Fordham defense wants, though, putting the Lehigh Mountain Hawks into passing territory.
That was Mason Humphrey with the drop, so he's back in action after the injury scare in the last drive. But this is the freshman Hayden Johnson at quarterback, replacing Dante Perry. Lehigh rotates their quarterbacks. Johnson hands off to Yoder, runs right, slips past a couple tacklers, spins forward at the 35 to make this one 3rd and 5.
Perry playing well in this game so far, Lou. I know that Lehigh does this. They switch from quarterback to quarterback, but odd to see a team that's put up 17 points already looking to put up more in the first half, switching a quarterback to Hayden Johnson. So far, really only been handing the ball off, so I guess any one of their QBs can go out there and do that.
Johnson leads the Lehigh quarterbacks in passing, 511 passing yards, a 69.2 completion percentage. Perry has more touchdowns, 4-3. This is a 3rd down and 4, 3:45 to play. Lehigh up by 14. Johnson the snap, handoff Yoder, speeds forward, has the first down. He's tripped up by Dawson, but gets the first down and then some. It's like Claudia Robinson slow to get up, but he does, and he'll stay out there. Now they'll sub him out as they send in the freshman Carter Hess.
And Fordham defense is fortunate that Yoder was tripped up there. He might have had a house call right there. Nobody around him seems to trip up on the turf monster and go down face first.
Fordham defensively feeling the absence of James Conway, not dressed today after averaging 15 tackles and his first 2 games played against Lafayette and Holy Cross. 3 minutes left to play in the half. This is the run left for Yoder. He's tripped up. That will go for a loss of 4. Fordham quickly into the backfield on the near side, giving him nowhere to go.
And who else but Matt Jaworski back there again, messing up this Lehigh Mountain Hawks offense, putting them off schedule back-to-back drives right now. Well, they'll set them up now with 2nd and 10, get them into this passing territory here with Hayden Johnson.
2:35 and ticking as we near the 2-minute timeout. Lehigh ahead 17-3. This is 2nd and 13 from their own 43-yard line. Jameel motions to the far side slot. It's Johnson and empty. High snap, he handles it. Throws over the middle. This is Jameel past midfield. First down and then some. 40, 35, 30, 25. Strikes another tackle inside the red zone. Knocked out of bounds. Right outside the 10-yard line. What a grab and run by Jeffrey Jameel.
And you said the Fordham defense is missing James Conway. That time the ball goes right in between Jalen Dawson and Mike Courtney right where James Conway would have been. That's a massive game for the Lehigh Mountain Hawks.
There's the 2-minute timeout. But it comes after a massive grab by Jeffrey J. Meal. Takes them up to the Fordham 12-yard line. And Lehigh, a chance to go up by 3 scores here before the end of halftime. Up 17-3 with 2 minutes to play. It's Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
New Orlando, Evan Harkin, 2 minutes away from our halftime in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and it's Lehigh leading 17-3. The 45-yard reception from the junior Jeffrey J. Meal takes Lehigh into the red zone and in the end zone for a 3rd time today. Evan, I think I need to tell you, Fordham would really like a stop here.
Yeah, they would. A huge catch and run there from J. Meal. A former Patriot League Rookie of the Year back in 2022. Had a big game this year against Bucknell. 9 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That time, gashing the Fordham defense yet again, Lou. Like you said, a defense that's trying everything they can. Has a lot of backups in right now. Doesn't have their star players. They really have to get a lot of people to the ball. How you counter that is having multiple hats, multiple people on tackles when you don't have your stars to go out there and make big ones.
Fordham without their starting linebacker, James Conway, both of their starting safeties. And there have been holes in the middle of this defense all day today. 1st and 10 from the Fordham 12. Johnson keeps on the far side, evades one tackler, cuts up inside the 10, inside the 5, finally brought down. Awfully close to that 1st down marker, and Hayden Johnson looked to be wrapped up and quartered around the 15-yard line, makes something out of nothing.
Hayden Johnson coming into this game with only 91 rushing yards, but 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. Has a knack for finding that end zone that time, making 4 tacklers miss before almost getting there.
1:51, the clock has stopped. Johnson, they say, took that up to the 2-yard line. Well, the ball is spotted closer to the 4. Scoreboard is wrong. This will be 2nd and 2 from the 4-yard line. Johnson in the gun, Yoder to his left. Lehigh already leading by 14. Johnson the snap, handoff Yoder, runs right, cuts up, gets up to about the 2-yard line, couple yards away from the end zone. Looks like he might have had the distance for a 1st down. It's awfully close.
And if it's a 3rd down here, that would be a major 3rd down for this Rams defense. If you're able to hold them to 3 here, keep it to a 17-point game, that's at least reachable going into the halftime tunnel. You can at least base some coaching points off of that, have some hope.
They give Yoder the 1st down. Lehigh up 17-3. They'll have at least 3 shots at the end zone from 2 yards away.
And Ricky Parks over here on the sideline. Good to see him on the bicycle right now. He was over in the medical tent that actually just got completely destroyed by the wind. Some aggressive winds here at Murray H. Goodman Stadium in Pennsylvania. But good to see Ricky Parks back up on his feet for the Fordham Rams as their defense trots back out near the end zone.
Pulling up the weather app on my phone, 12-mile-per-hour wind. But what you're hearing is the gusts of 25 miles per hour. Shouldn't affect Lehigh too much, as they're content to run the football. Certainly here, 2 yards away from the end zone. 1st and goal from the 2. This is the freshman Matt Mahalik. He's got Yoder to his left. Mahalik takes the snap, Fakes it to Yoder, takes it himself, cuts up into the end zone, touchdown Lehigh. Mahalik's second of the day, fourth of the season, and Lehigh a 20 spot in the first half. They're up 23-3.
Matt Mahalik, just another person you could put the ball in his hands on this Mountain Hawk offense and say, go find the end zone, go make a couple people miss. This Fordham defense already banged up in a bad position here. Down 20 points. The Mountain Hawks looking to make it 24 with this extra point.
Evan, we can see it now. The air has been sucked out of this Fordham sideline. 0-7, facing the prospect of falling to 0-8. Extra point good from Nick Garrido. 24-3 is the Lehigh lead, a 21-point lead, and this is maybe a bit shocking. Fordham one-score losses against Lafayette and Holy Cross, the two consensus best teams in the Patriot League, the two reigning champs. You go up against Lehigh. They were 2-9 last year. They're looking to turn the page, take the step that Lafayette took last year. They've got young talent, young pieces in place, but they're up 21 against the Fordham Rams. That is a statement.
Yeah, it's hard to find hope, hard to find reason to get that adrenaline going, but like you said, Lou, this sideline looks about as dead as a sideline could look right now. I mean, James Conway can go around and headbutt people without the helmet on as much as he wants. It's really hard when it's a 21-point game, when you haven't won one so far this season, to get everybody going. We're seeing the effects of that right now. Everyone seemingly with their head held low, sitting down, not really wanting to be here at Lehigh Stadium.
Minute 41, Fordham will have the ball back and maybe a chance to get points on the board. Kick away from Poole. Sails into the end zone, touchback. Fordham takes over at the 25. So you got about 100 seconds. Go 75 yards for the touchdown or just get to around the 30-ish or so for Bennett Henderson to get some semblance of momentum, some points going into halftime.
Yeah, a lot easier said than done for an offense that's not very good at passing the ball, but we've seen Jack Capaldi play decently well in these under 2-minute situations, Lou. Be able to find his receivers. The issue's kind of been receivers dropping the ball in this scenario, so if their established receivers can just do their part, maybe this offense can get down the field.
Lehigh 24, Fordham 3. Capaldi hands off Luffridge. Runs right, but met right away. And now goes a loss of 1. Strong play from the line. That's Quentin Joyner who made the initial contact.
Well, no sense of urgency to get down the field there. They'll run the ball right up the middle and lose some yardage on first down.
2nd and 11, a minute 20 to go as the clock ticks. Capaldi back to throw. Looking middle, throws right. Incomplete. Wanted Cole Thornton on the curl route. Tight coverage from Peltekian.
Cole Thornton wants that one back. Those are those plays receivers don't know whether to count as drops for themselves because there was a defender right around the area. But one I'm sure number 6 Cole Thornton wishes he would have pulled in. Jack Capaldi putting the ball on his receivers today, just unable to get them to catch the ball and turn upfield.
Now quickly facing a 3rd down and 11. A minute 15 to play here in the half. And Lehigh, believe it or not, has a chance to get the ball back and maybe get even more points. If they can get a stop here, Lehigh has all 3 timeouts at their disposal. Fordham has 2. Capaldi looking middle. Facing pressure, brought to the ground at the 10-yard line. Mike DiNucci gets the sack. The clock stops at 1:09 as Lehigh calls timeout. Fordham will have to punt, and Lehigh has a chance to make this an even bigger lead going into half.
Yeah, Mike DiNucci from Denville, New Jersey. That's his first official full sack on the season. Only had a half coming into this game. Well, he's a very good linebacker. Don't let that fool you. 44 tackles and counting today. He's been appearing in games for the Mountain Hawks since the 2020 season. That's a huge play. They can sort of put a dagger into this Fordham offense in terms of this first half, and they can come back down the field and add more points. That is the last thing Fordham needed right there. It was a 3-and-out, just allowing more points to be scored on your vulnerable defense.
And the keys to Lehigh's defense, it's the safety Nick Peltekian. It's the linebacker Mike DiNucci. You take a look back at his 2022 season. 93 tackles, that was 4th in the conference. He led the Patriot League with 8.5 sacks, 16.5 tackles for loss. Somehow wasn't on the first team All-Patriot League team. I think probably a bad job by the Patriot League media there.
Making his case out here today, having a good game so far. The Rams will be punting from their own end zone.
Minute 10, and Will Hazlitt stands, as you said, Evan, in his own end zone. Low snap, Hazlitt. Line drive kick, bounces at the Lehigh 35. It will roll to the Lehigh 45, but we've seen a lot of excellent punts from Will Hazlitt this season. That was not one of them.
No, that one seemed to go off either the right of his foot or the left of his foot. Did not get all of that. He's coming to the sideline upset after that one. It looked like it might have touched a Lehigh player, which would allow Fordham to pick up the ball. It was bouncing right around a man in brown and white. Cloudy Robinson pushing his case to the referee, but they'll send it the Mountain Hawks' way. They'll have the ball on the Fordham Rams 45, hunting the other way.
Yeah, just about 20 yards or so away from being in field goal range for their kicker, Nick Garrido. Lehigh already up 24-3 with 90. Let's try that again. Minute and 61 seconds left to play in the half. Hayden Johnson in the gun. Jaden Green, the back to his left, a pair of receivers either side. Lehigh looking to add to a 21-point lead. Snap, Johnson throws right side, brought in Humphrey past the 40-yard line, 2 yards away from the first. He wants to get there. Kemper won't let him. Still a nice reception to start the drive for Lehigh.
Mason Humphrey, 9 receptions, 109 yards versus Bucknell. Showed in that game he can be a true number one, the guy you go to when you need, and he's shown it so far in this game as well.
It's the second time out for Lehigh. They've got one left after the reception by Mason Humphrey that takes them up to the 38-yard line. Lehigh, boy, would that be a gut punch for Fordham if they can get points here. Already up by 21, and perhaps some truth to the phrase that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. That's certainly how it feels in this first half.
If there was ever a major spot for the Fordham defensive line to step up, maybe get a sack, cause a negative play, knock them back out of field goal range, it would be right now with all the hope for this game kind of on the line even before halftime.
Second down and 3 from the 37. 53 seconds left to play. Lehigh's trips left. Johnson facing pressure, steps up, evades one tackler, evades the second, rushing to his left past the 35. Jaworski makes the tackle at the 33-yard line, but Johnson picks up the first down, and Fordham had the chance for a sack twice there. Johnson doesn't go down.
Johnson stepping out of tackles, using the high knees really well, but that seems to be the theme of the game so far, even when the Rams are in the right spot, unable to take down the Mountain Hawks.
40 seconds and ticking. The end zone shot from Johnson. It's brought in. Oh, a nice grab over the shoulder. Matt Davino. Touchdown, Lehigh.
Matt Davino, that's his first stat. He's played in 5 games so far this season. He's a freshman from Montgomery, New Jersey. 2-time first big all Central New Jersey, but does not have a stat yet this season. He'll add a long touchdown here today against Fordham and put Lehigh up 27, looking to make it 28.
Lehigh, a 30 spot here in the first half, up 30-3 as they are just pouring it on. Garrido for the extra point. Snap, spot, kick on its way, and good. 31-3 is the Mountain Hawks lead, and that is a 28-point lead. This Fordham season, there have been plenty of valleys, plenty of low points, and this feels like another one. After you battle with the 2 best teams in the conference, you get the bye week, you get to recover, and they come out flat against a Lehigh team that has some talent, but they are not world beaters in the Patriot League by any means.
And having such little faith in the offense that Fordham's probably going to go out there into victory formation and kneel this out just to send it into halftime in a 28-point game is very fitting for the Fordham season so far. Going into halftime in most of their games knowing that it's most likely over, not even trying to score points, just trying not to get points scored back on them. Kind of the MO of Fordham all season long.
And Fordham had a chance with 1:40 to play. Maybe get some points on the board. Instead, the 3-and-out, they punt from their own end zone. It's not a great punt by Hazlitt. In just a few plays, a long touchdown for Matt Davino, the first reception of his career. And Lehigh up 31-3. Freshman Connor Poole for the kickoff. Sends it to the near side. That's KJ Reed. At the 2-yard line, takes it to the middle. 10, 20, bursting forward, has some space. He's tripped up at the 35-yard line. Best return of the season for KJ Reed. I wonder, is that enough to convince Coach Conlon to maybe take a couple shots here?
Right, that time KJ Reed, Fordham offense, the Fordham kick return unit, trying to do something different. They send him left. It's always right. It's been right every single time this season. That time he goes left, almost able to break free. But like you said, Lou, sets them up in position well. Maybe you don't need the ball out here. If you're the Fordham offense, you give Capaldi a chance to move it downfield. We'll see what they do.
Send the main offense out there. Capaldi in the gun. Jack Kaiser, the backup running back, to his left, but Garrett Cody, Mekhi Felton up top. KJ Reed, Cole Thornton down low. 28 seconds left, a pair of timeouts for the Rams. Capaldi looking to throw. Steps up, throws on the left side. Head-high grab, Garrett Cody. The first down and out of bounds, shy of the 45 marker in Fordham territory.
Well, there's the answer to the question. They won't be kneeling it out. They'll be going downfield that time. A good connection to Garrett Cody. You want to get him going. Even if this drive isn't going to go anywhere, isn't going to score any points, good to get number 7 going in this game.
1st and 10 from the 44. Twin receivers either side. Capaldi brought down to the 35-yard line. Good pressure off the edge. Once again, Lehigh coming up with a sack in a 2-minute situation. That's Matt Spatney. And that might be the play that forces Fordham to take a kneel here and just end the half.
Yeah, Owen Deutsch really slow to get up. He's still over there on the ground for the Fordham Rams. The right tackle came in as the backup for Cooper LaFon. Cooper LaFon got hurt against Bowling Green, so Deutsch has been in that spot. Coach Conlon gave him praise for playing well. He says they don't like to recruit guys that are over 6'4". Well, Owen Deutsch is listed at 6'8", so one of the bigger guys on this offensive line. They hope he can get up.
Well, Fordham came in excited about their freshman, Cooper LaFond. Cooper LaFond injured in week 1. Deutsch took over, and he's played really well on that tackle on the near side. A banged-up Fordham team potentially getting even more hurt here at the end of the half, already trailing by 28.
But the good news for this offensive line as a unit is, like Coach Conlon said, they work them in and out. They're always working centers at guards. They're working tackle at guard. Anyone can pretty much play anywhere, so it's really next man up here for the Fordham offensive line.
The sack by Spatney, his first of the game, raises his lead to 6.5 on the season, and that should give him the Patriot League lead by half a sack as he leaps ahead of Cooper Blomstrom.
Spatney came into this game also leading in tackles for loss. Matt Jaworski took that one back, so they're fighting for the tackles for loss leader throughout this game. He'll add another one right there and go back ahead of Jaworski by 0.5.
10 seconds left in the half. Fordham lined up in the gun. Capaldi will hand off to Kaiser, runs right, picks up 2, and that will take us to halftime. A lopsided first half of play. Lehigh 31, Fordham 3, a 28-point lead. And Evan, I'll say the phrase again, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. That is very true of this first half.
Right, the Fordham offense, Mike Courtney, like he's been saying, control what you can control. At this point, there's not too much you can control down 28 points. You have to go out there and pass the ball. Everything's formulated in a way that Lehigh knows you're going to come out. We'll see what Fordham changes in the locker room, Lou, to come out looking a little bit different offensively and defensively as well, letting up 31 points in the first half.
Once again, Lehigh 31, Fordham 3 as our first half in the books. Let's go back to the Bronx, the Rose Hill Studios. It's Ben Oppenheimer and Joe Henry for the one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome to the one-on-one halftime show for today's Fordham football game at Lehigh. I'm Ben Oppenheimer along with my co-host Joe Henry, here back in our Rose Hill studio in the Bronx. Well, Lou said in the booth just a minute ago that it appears that anything that can go wrong will go wrong for this Fordham team, and they call that rule Murphy's Law, and it appears that Murphy's Law has really hit Fordham hard as they trail Lehigh 31-3 at the half. That's right, 31-3 as the Rams are in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania after Fordham got a break last week with a bye. You would have thought they would be fresh and ready to go, but it certainly did not look like that out there in the first half. Now let's get into the highlights. To start off scoring for Fordham, Bennett Henderson kicked a missile of a field goal to give Fordham a 3-point lead with 6 minutes into the first quarter. The Rams had reason to be optimistic.
Snap the spot. Kick is on its way. It has the distance, and it's through the uprights. Bennett Henderson hits from 43. The Rams up 3-0 with 6:18 left in the first.
But then we saw Lehigh answer right back with a little over 2 minutes to go in the first quarter as freshman running back Jaden Green went on a 44-yard run to score his 5th touchdown of the season, giving Lehigh a 7-3 lead.
2nd and 5, 2:25 to play in the first. Handoff Green, runs left, has the first down and breaking through. One man left to beat, he's going to get there, touchdown! 44-yard run for Jaden Green. And just like that, Lehigh's taken the lead.
Then in the second, with a little over 13 minutes to go, Lehigh added to their lead with a field goal by Nick Garrido on 4th and 10. Fordham now trailed 10-3 at this point.
Snap, spot, kick is on its way. And through the uprights. Lehigh a 10-3 lead. They're up by a touchdown with 13:25 to play in the half.
And Lehigh just kept piling on to their lead in the second quarter. With just over 8 minutes left, the freshman quarterback for the Mountain Hawks, Matt Mahalik, rushed 2 yards for a touchdown, and the score became 17-3 Lehigh.
Mahalik takes the snap, runs right, met at the 2-yard line, dives into the end zone, touchdown Lehigh. Lehigh leaps ahead by 2 scores, and it's the 3rd touchdown for the freshman quarterback, Matt Mahalik.
The one-on.
Well, that will just about do it for our highlights. And, just to summarize it up after that, Matt Mahalik scored another touchdown with 1:42 to go. And then Matt Davino hauled in a touchdown from Hayden Johnson, making it 31-3, which is where we are now. And this has just been another brutal game for Fordham. And, their defensive line looks like Swiss cheese with James Conway out. The bright side, Joe, it's hard to imagine how this could be much worse, right?
Yeah, you say that, and yet that's kind of been what the narrative has been all year for this Fordham team, and it's, I think, a bit uncharacteristic. You'd maybe expect that coming out of non-conference play when droughts like this, blowouts were rudimentary for this team, but the past 2 weeks you played the 2 best Patriot League teams probably in Holy Cross and Lafayette, and you held them, or you stayed within 1 score in those games. You even held a lead against Holy Cross, had a chance of breaking a 7-year-long drought against them. And you come into a game against Lehigh, a game which maybe you're not favored to win, but which you should have a good chance to win in. And it's been anything but that story for them as a 28-point lead for Lehigh.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought this was a winnable game for Fordham as Lehigh was on a 2-game losing streak. They lost at home versus Bucknell in double overtime, 38-35. Then they lost at Yale, 38-23. So the momentum was not exactly on their side. But then again, the momentum with Fordham being 0-7 so far was not exactly on their side either. So it was just a question of who would blink first. And what we're seeing today is just unfortunately, it's what we've seen all season from Fordham. I mean, everyone talks about this, kind of a generic thing to say, but the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And just watching this Fordham team, it's like I'm watching a replay of every single game. It feels like the character that was even displayed in the Bowling Green game, and Bowling Green is a great team. It just that energy, that mood has not left the team, especially after that loss at CCSU, that's when the alarm bells started going off. And now we're here, possibly, most likely, I would say, this could probably be another loss. So you just have to wonder, obviously there's the injuries, but then you just look at, let's get into the hard stats. You look at the rushing yards for Lehigh versus Fordham, the comparison there. It's so lopsided. 201 rushing yards for Lehigh, just cutting through that defensive line, especially with James Conway being out, and we know his talent. And Fordham just has no answer. They have nothing to respond with, and Fordham right now, they only got 52 rushing yards. They're not really doing well in the offensive end, and their defense, there's not much to say about that. And then you look at first downs. Lehigh has 14, Fordham has 6. Everything in the stats just shows why this is the way it is, why it is lopsided. I just wonder, if you're trying to make adjustments, what adjustments do you make?
Yeah, I'm glad that you raised that point. I like that using the definition of insanity. It's important to look at how you could do things differently. In this half, you're coming towards the end of the season now, pretty much out of contention in terms of playing for anything meaningful at the end of the year. So I think you look towards the bottom of your roster. You have 32 true freshmen on this team. It's a pretty young squad. I think in a half like this, where you're down 28, the game's fairly unsalvageable. Put in some new faces, drop some new plays, and see what clicks for you guys. See what kind of momentum you can build from this year into next year. I think that's kind of where they're at, and I'm glad that you also mentioned the run game, because I think that's been the big story in this one. 200 yards in one half for Lehigh, and they're getting it from pretty much anyone who wants to carry the football. Yoder, Green, the freshman, has looked great. I know Conlon caught him a bit of a change of pace back, but he's looked anything but that. He's been full throttle the entire game. 13.2 rushing yards per attempt, pretty absurd number there, and really they're getting anything they want on the ground. And I think that's the difference, because Julius Luffridge has had a nice bounce back game in this one, 53 yards on 6.5 per carry, and by no means has he struggled like he did against Holy Cross, where he was held to less than 3 per carry. And this is, we're talking about maybe the best running back in the Patriot League. But the difference between him and Green and Yoder, where they're able to break into the end zone and break off these longer runs and have averages even higher than Luffridge's, is that the Fordham secondary and the linebacker front without Conway is pretty much allowing Green and Yoder to go untouched for 5 or 6 yards every single play. Whereas Luffridge, you see some of these runs he's had, they've been great runs, but he's had to break 2 or 3 tackles in order to pick up that kind of yardage. It hasn't been as tough for Green or Yoder, and I think that is as much to do with the Fordham defense as it is to any proficiencies from Green, Yoder, or the Lehigh offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, we know Luffridge's talent and his ability, but he's only one player, and football is a team sport. It's similar to the other professional sports in that way, and you just have to wonder in terms of where do they go from here. I'm not sure at this point what adjustments you can try to make, because I asked you that. I'm not sure if there is an answer. You look at Jack Capaldi right now. 59 passing yards. So he's trying to do his best out there, but I think it's a hobbled team to begin with, right? With the injuries, especially since the Dartmouth game, they're just in a difficult spot. There's no other way to kind of skirt around the fact, and when you look at there was talk of Fordham's offensive line being challenged, but now you look on the defensive side, and it's just there's not much there either, as we see today. So I'm trying to find a bright spot. I mean, you talked about Julius Luffridge, but I'm not sure. I mean, if you can come up with something, great. Do you see any other encouraging trends or factors from what you've seen in this first half besides Luffridge playing decent and Jack Capaldi at least trying to hold his own out there?
Yeah, well, I suppose Bennett Henderson continues to kick the ball well in terms of individual performances. I think that's the only other real bright spot here in the first half. And I like what you said about Luffridge being just one guy and this being a team sport. I think that's what it comes down to, not just this game, but for the Fordham offense overall. You have a great rushing attack, a really strong run game, but you really have nothing through the pass. Montez goes down. A lot of your top receivers graduate. Really, no one's emerged as that true number one guy in the receiving game. And when you don't have a pass game, your offense becomes so one-dimensional that defenses can hone in on the run. And I think that's what we saw against Holy Cross, where Luffridge struggled so much, is because they knew that Fordham was running, because they have so little success through the air. Capaldi has done a solid job stepping in a kind of tough situation with Montez going down, but his completion percentage on the year is south of 50. And he's holding up to that today. 50%. Had the interception. Wasn't totally his fault. Wasn't a bad pass. Kind of went off the fingertips of Noden. But yeah, that's what I'd like to see in terms of trying to find a positive in the second half. I think you gotta try new things with your receiving core, with your passing offense, try to mix it up and have some multidimensionality of your offense and actually keep Lehigh off guard so they're not just going against the run every single time, knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, one last thing I'll note before we wrap this thing up is Fordham versus Holy Cross. That was only a 3-point deficit in that loss. Fordham lost 19-16 at Holy Cross, and Holy Cross is right now they're one of, I mean, there's certainly, you could make the case that they're better than Lehigh or around the same area. I mean, not what they were with Matt Sluka, but either way, I think it's kind of fascinating how Fordham almost when they go against really good opponents, they kind of they rise to the occasion but still fall short. But then when they go against worse opponents, it feels like they do even worse. So I think that's an interesting trend. It's obviously not a good trend, and we'll see what happens in the second half. But for me, Ben Oppenheimer alongside Joe Henry, that was the one-on-one halftime report. We're going to send it back to Pennsylvania with Lou and Evan. They'll have you for the second half. We'll be back post-game, but that was the one-on-one halftime report on WFUV Sports.
Nice. Ben, do you have key card access?
What's that? Yeah, I do, yeah.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym,
discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, it's Fordham football wide receiver Garrett Cody. Follow along with our quest for a Patriot League title all season long at WFUV Sports on 90.7 FM or the WFUV Sports YouTube page. WFUV, the flagship station of Fordham football. What's up, everyone? I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're two of your hosts for NFL Friday, WFUV Sports' exclusive NFL podcast.
From breaking down the weekly slate to fantasy football pickups, we've got you covered on all things around the NFL.
Stay tuned for our hosts' weekly picks as they compete against each other all season long.
Football is here, and so is NFL Friday.
Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, Goodman Stadium in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and we said it, the halftime crew did a wonderful job, and a big thank you to Ben Oppenheimer, Joe Henry, for taking us through the halftime show. That was an ugly half of football, Evan. 31-3 is the deficit for the Fordham Rams, and you can look at almost every statistical area you want to look at. Lehigh has the Rams beat right now.
Right, and it makes you wonder how good this Lehigh team really is. We haven't seen them play too many Patriot League opponents so far. That Bucknell game went into double overtime, a really good game, hard fought from Lehigh, over 200 rushing yards in that one. A team that's predicated on rushing the ball so well. They have 3 quarterbacks that can do that, 2 running backs that can do that. They have really good defensive players, Mike DiNucci, everybody else on that defense really getting to the football. They have pass rushers, so it makes you wonder how much noise they can make in the Patriot League going on in Lou.
Well, it's been a really interesting season for Lehigh because you look at last year, they go 2-9, finish 1-5 in conference play. That was the first year for head coach Kevin Cahill. A lot of young talent on this squad, though, and it feels like they've taken a little bit of a leap this year. They opened conference play on September 28th. That was a 38-35 loss in double overtime to Bucknell. Went back and forth. They ran for over 200 yards. Then they had back-to-back bye weeks. Came out last week against Yale, lost 38-23, but ran for 250 yards. They had 5 sacks against Bucknell, so it felt like the level of play that they had was trending, even though it was back-to-back losses. And now they're shaping up to get their first conference win of the season. And we talk about the Patriot League kind of being undecided. The favorites right now, Holy Cross at 2-0, but still feels like it could be anyone's ball game here in the Patriot League. Maybe Lehigh becomes a surprise contender.
Right, this Lehigh team picked 6th in the preseason Patriot League standings. They're playing a lot better than that start out right here, going up against Fordham, looking to get this win. I think a big part of that is getting these offensive linemen back. We hinted on it earlier. They had so many offensive linemen that have been starters for them over their last few seasons, now coming back that were injured last season during that 1-5, 2-9 overall season. Aiden Palmer, Austin Huff, Langston Jones, and Christian Corrado all coming back from this in this game, in this season for the Mountain Hawks, making a huge difference in their ability to run the football, have success as a team overall.
And you wonder, their lack of success in the passing game, maybe not reflected today, but over the course of the season, if that's going to be something that ends up being their downfall against the stronger teams, the Lafayettes and the Holy Cross. But they clearly have a rushing attack that can go up with anyone in the Patriot League. Luke Yoder shaping up to be one of the best running backs in the Patriot League. Don't be surprised if you see him on the all-conference team at the end of the season. Jaden Green making a strong case to be Patriot League Rookie of the Year. When it's all said and done, that they have a formula for success offensively. And then you look at the defensive side. Matt Spatney, one of the best defensive ends in the Patriot League. Tyler Ohoyski moving from linebacker to that rushing edge position has had a nice year. TJ Burke at nose tackle. They've got a strong D-line, a linebacker core led by Mike DiNucci, and that secondary led by Nick Peltekian. They've got talent at all 3 levels. Maybe this is a Lehigh team that can go out and surprise some people.
And their weakest link, passing the ball, they seem to be getting better at that, at least doing a lot better here today against Fordham than they have all season long. Hayden Johnson, 86 yards. Dante Perry, 27 yards throwing. But then you look at the QBRs, Hayden Johnson with a 339 QBR right now. That's outstanding. You're pretty much playing a perfect game at quarterback. So if they can get these quarterbacks going, get that aerial attack going, Lou, it could be a scary sight for the rest of the Patriot League.
And it's very interesting to look at their quarterback room. Dante Perry started 17 of 22 games as a youngster in this program from 2021 to 2022. He had his job usurped by Braden Silbor last year. Silbor graduated. Perry still here for a senior season. And he started every game, but he's really splitting time with Hayden Johnson, a kid that was first-team All-State in Pennsylvania, set school career records, over 7,000 passing yards, 121 total touchdowns. Hayden Johnson is a kid that could project to be one of the next big quarterbacks in the Patriot League. I think clearly they're building him up. They don't want to throw him into the fire to start, but he has the skills and the intangibles to maybe be a quarterback that could elevate Lehigh's passing game to the next level in future seasons.
The situations that they throw Hayden Johnson into lets you know that they have so much faith in him. And like you said, Lou, might be building him up because they don't throw him in when Dante Perry's playing poorly. Dante Perry had a 17-3 lead in this game before he was taken out for Hayden Johnson. Like you said, it looks like they're building him up. They see talent in him that they expect to shine next season, trying to get him as much burn as they can in this year.
The kick is away from Connor Poole, and Fordham will start the second half with the football, and we'll see if they can turn around any of the momentum that's going full speed against them right now. They trail by 28. It is 31 unanswered points for the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Fordham was held scoreless in the second quarter, and outside of that one drive, this offense has been unremarkable.
And the offense has to get more creative. We saw them go for 3 straight perimeter receiver screens. The Mountain Hawks eventually came up, almost got an interception on that. They seem to know every time that the ball's going to number 15 up the middle on first down, so look for the Rams to change things up.
Luffridge offset right of Capaldi. Mackay Felton motions across. Stops at the tight end, comes back. They hand off to Luffridge. Runs left, patiently sits in the backfield, but he's swallowed up with nowhere to go and a loss of 1.
And there it is again. The Mountain Hawks expecting them to go to number 15. They send everybody up. Second-level defenders flying in for the hit on Julius Luffridge.
Luffridge 6.5 yards per carry in the first half, but only 8 attempts for 53 yards as Fordham down big. They're going to need to pass to get back into this one, but Luffridge has been more productive today. Play fake. Capaldi looks left, throws left. It's tipped and knocked out of bounds by Tyler Ohoyski, dropping back into coverage.
Ohoyski, a defensive end, kind of plays that rover role where he can rush the passer. He lined up as an edge rusher there in a three-point stance, drops back into zone coverage, deceiving Jack Capaldi, able to get his hand in between that throw and break it up.
Tyler Ohoyski stepping into the role that Trevor Harris had last year on the edge, but played linebacker last year, was third in tackles. Third down and long. Capaldi shrugs off a tackle from DiNucci. He'll look to run, gets back up to the line of scrimmage, picks up 1, nothing after that, and maybe to the surprise of few at this point, Evan, their first drive for the Fordham Rams, a 3-and-out, and Will Haslett out to punt.
Getting very used to seeing Will Haslett run from this sideline out to the middle of the field. He seems to do it on almost every single drive for the Fordham Rams, especially today. At time, Jack Capaldi looking like Ben Roethlisberger in his prime, bouncing tackles off of him, stiff-arming way bigger defenders. All he can get out of it is 2 yards. All the Fordham offense can do today.
DiNucci eyeing his second sack of the game. Capaldi refused to go down, makes it a positive, but not enough for the first down. Haslett gets more into it, this time the punt into Lehigh territory. Peltekian at the 35, stays up, stiff arms a man, runs back to the 30, taking it wide near side, 35-40, 45-50, breaking through tackles across midfield. And that is poor special teams coverage by Fordham there. Should have had him wrapped up at the 30. Instead, he breaks through to the 50-yard line.
Well, Nick Peltekian's a good returner, but like you're saying, Lou, when you have 5 or 6 people bracketing him, someone has to make that tackle. You can't allow him to make it look like a high school kickoff, a high school punt return where he's running around the entire field and getting to the sideline. Just can't happen for this Fordham unit. He is a very good returner, though, average of 12 yards. That's up there for the top of the Patriot League, and he's got a touchdown on this season, so you can't let him go north and south on punt returns.
Opening 90 seconds of our second half. Lehigh, a 31-3 lead, and they get the football back in a flash. Taking over at midfield, looking to add to this monstrous lead. Fordham defense without James Conway has looked, as Ben Oppenheimer said at the halftime show, like Swiss cheese today. Handoff Green, up the middle. Runs behind a lineman, picks up a few, called a gain of 3.
Well, Ben Oppenheimer, absolutely right. There's always a hole somewhere for one of these backs to hop through, hit a little jump cut, and get going for 2 or 3 yards. That seems to be the minimum. That's not a formula for success if you're the Rams defense. You can't allow 3 yards at the least for this offense.
Jaden Green had 119 yards in the first half alone. Lehigh, 201 rushing yards in the first half, their third straight game with 200-plus rushing yards. And again, all that production coming in just one half a play. This is Johnson in the gun. Hands off Green. Takes it wide to the right. Barletta has him wrapped up at the legs. A loss of 2 and a nice play by the linebacker Jackson Barletta, quietly having a sneaky good season.
He is. His best game last week, too, Lou. 11 tackles against Holy Cross. Gets into double digits for the first time this season. One of these Rams' oldest players. He was playing in games, recording tackles in the 2019 season, all the way before the COVID years, Lou.
Career-high 11 tackles last week or 2 weeks ago against Holy Cross. Last time out, second on the team now with 39 tackles. He makes a nice stop there. 3rd and 7, and Fordham, the deficit may be big, but the defense looking for a stand to get the ball back and just have a much better feel for the second half.
Yeah, this will be a big 3rd and 7 right here. If you can flip it, get the offense back out on their field, without allowing Lehigh to score more points, that's how you're going to get back into this football game.
12.5 to play. Johnson in the gun. Yoder to his left. Just 5 in the box for the Rams. A passing situation here. 3rd and 7 at the 48 of Fordham. Johnson back to throw. Looking middle. Facing pressure. Steps up to run along the near side. Chased by Pascarella. Extends for the first down. And we'll see where the referees mark this. It's awfully close.
I couldn't find any snacks for you. Thought they would have them in there.
They're going to put the ball down right shy of the 40-yard line, and they say move the chains. An impressive run by Hayden Johnson, but I think maybe another case there where Fordham should contain him.
Right, Hayden Johnson, that just goes to show how good he is. You can really see the talent that Lehigh sees in this player right here. He steps up. John Smith should have a sack. Steps up like a very veteran player would, and he's a freshman, able to go pick up a huge first down, a dynamic playmaker at quarterback, not just a game manager.
1st and 10 from the Fordham 41 after the run from the quarterback Hayden Johnson. 11.5 to play. Handoff. Yoder runs left and quickly brought down by Peter Shalhoub.
Peter Shalhoub and that D-line doing a good job getting a push there, pushing the offensive line backwards, not allowing Yoder to just get into that second level and force people to tackle him while he's already has a speed.
1 yard gain for Luke Yoder, who has been really just an afterthought in this one, with Jaden Green averaging 11 yards per carry. Yoder just 4.6. Nothing to sneeze at, but he's been relegated to more of a split role with the explosiveness from Green today. 2nd and 9. Johnson looking deep. Throws left side. It's out of the reach. Jeffrey J. Meal around the 15-yard line.
That time out of the reach, but you can see the ability that Johnson has. He floats that ball, a touch pass, exactly where no one can get it on the Fordham defense. Only his receiver could go up there and make a really good play. It doesn't work, but I'm seeing more and more why this Lehigh team has so much faith in Hayden Johnson, why they stroll him out there, even in games where Dante Perry's playing very well in.
It was Drew Minnick, the freshman cornerback in coverage, and Drew Minnick, because of the safety injuries, being forced to play at safety. He played a little bit in high school, but he was recruited as a cornerback.
He was. His brother plays football at Notre Dame right now, so some football genes in that family.
3rd down and 9, 10:57 left in the third. Johnson fakes, throws off the back foot, finds Green at the 40, cuts up, 1st down, 25-20, 15-10, end zone, touchdown. A flag back at the 35, but for the moment, Jaden Green's 2nd score of the game.
Jaden Green just flying through the Fordham defense, letting you know why he holds a record in high school for the 100-meter dash. Just a difference in these guys with track speed, but that looks like it's going to be a hold on Lehigh. Flags came from both sides, right around the block. We'll see what the referees have to say.
An eligible man downfield for the Lehigh Mountain Hawks negates a pretty touchdown by Jaden Green. Makes this 3rd and long for the Lehigh offense.
Yeah, probably the first negative thing that this really good offensive line has done so far today, and that's just an aggression penalty. Yeah. You'll take those if you're an offensive line coach. You don't want holds, you don't want false starts, but someone downfield just trying to make things happen in the passing game, trying to lay some blocks out there isn't too much of a bad thing for an offensive lineman.
I'll call it 3rd and 14 from the Lehigh, or from the Fordham 45. 10:46 to play in the third. Lehigh already up 31-3. Johnson hands off. Green quickly met and brought down by Matt Jaworski. A nice play inside. And it looks like Fordham successfully forces the punting unit out there for Lehigh.
Well, there's the Buffalo product again. Matt Jaworski, he has so many tackles right around a 1 yard gain. You'd think if those counted into the tackle for loss category of those no yard gains, how many would he have right now? Still sitting around 14 coming into today. Mason Hatfield back to return this punt.
7 tackles now for Jaworski, and a tackle for loss on the day as well. It's the punter Connor Poole standing at his own 43. Sends the sky punt to the Fordham 5. It takes a hop, stays right there, rolls inside, and is down at the 2 yard line. Evan, normally we talk about Will Hazlitt and his beautiful punts. Today it's been Connor Poole, and that's his 3rd inside the 20, and that might have been his best one.
3rd of the day. That doubles what he had on this season. He'll come out of this game, if it stopped right now, with 6, came in with 3 on the day. Like you said, Lou, that time, that ball almost inside the 5. It is inside the 5. Referees will mark it at the 4 yard line, heading the other way. Fordham with some poor field position here. Mason Hatfield probably wishing he caught that ball. Fair caught it, would be up a few more yards.
A beauty of a punt and a Fordham offense that has been struggling, facing even more adversity on this next drive. Lehigh 31, Fordham 3, 9:55 to play in the third. It's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Evan Harkin, your New York Jets beat reporter for the 2024 season. Stay up to date with all things white and green from MetLife Stadium. From Aaron Rodgers touchdowns to Sauce Gardner interceptions, I've got you covered. So join me and Gang Green on Twitter at Ev Harkin and stay locked in with the JETS on WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, Lehigh 31, Fordham 3. 9:55 to play in the third, and Fordham forces a stop thanks to an excellent tackle by Matt Jaworski. But the Fordham offense takes over at their own 4-yard line, so nothing comes easy today, Ev.
No, we saw the Fordham offense be able to have some short pass success towards the end of that first half, even opening up this second half. Look for them to go back to that. But if you really can't get Julius Luffridge going in the run game at all, it's pretty much all she wrote for the Fordham offense. They're not going to have success. They're not going to pick up first downs and move down the field. So it's going to have to be Luffridge doing a little bit of the work and Capaldi helping him out, especially in the short game.
Tight formation for Fordham, just 2 receivers. Capaldi, play fake, stands in the end zone, pumps, throws, deep left side, and intercepted. No, it's incomplete. He wanted the go route along that left sideline and instead throws it into double coverage. Andrew Worthy nearly comes up with that one. And it's Ricky Gonzalez that is slow to get up and will have to limp off the field.
Well, you hope Ricky Gonzalez is okay. Now turning that limp into a jog, so that's a good sign for his sake. Andrew Worthy, the cornerback on that play, knows Fordham pretty well. Started his first game in college against Fordham on the 23rd of October back in 2021.
Capaldi hands off Luffridge on the read option. Luffridge stumbles. Maybe picks up 1. Fordham facing 3rd and long for a second straight drive.
3rd and long while the quarterback will be standing in his end zone. It seems like everywhere the Fordham offense is, Lou, is not where you want to be as a successful offense. We'll see if Jack Capaldi can overcome that and find one of his receivers past the sticks.
2 receivers down low, 1 up top, 9:15 to play in the third. Capaldi, play fake, steps up, facing pressure, brought down right around the end zone. Sacked at the 1-yard line. A tough task for the offense. Now a tough task for Will Haslett and the punting unit. Capaldi goes down at the 1. This is going to be real tough sledding.
That's a situation where you want the offensive coordinator, the coaching staff to help you out a little bit. If you're Jack Capaldi, the defense knows they're going to be sending some kind of blitz. They know you're standing in your own end zone, having to pass the ball without receivers open all day. You got to scheme up a screen pass, a rub route, something to get the ball out of his hands quick so he's not taking hits in the end zone.
Fordham starts the drive, or starts the second half, with back-to-back 3-and-outs. Will Haslett stands as far back as you can. The snap is botched. Haslett falls on it, and that will be a safety. Things unraveling for the Fordham Rams. Lehigh gets 2 points, and they get the football. And that long snap from Walker Atkinson, well, something went wrong in the mechanics there, because it doesn't even get to Will Haslett on the line. Haslett has to fall on it. That's a safety. My goodness.
Just when you think everything is going wrong for the Fordham Rams, then their best players start having everything go wrong for them too, and that's a really scary sight. Walker Atkinson, the preseason Patriot Player of the Year at long snapper. He was an all-Patriot League selection coming into this season at that position. Been pretty good in terms of operation time and then getting downfield to make tackles. And then Will Haslett also not punting too great today. Had a really bad punt that set up Lehigh with good field position. So even when you look at the special teams unit and 2 guys that have been outstanding stars this season for them, they're even having a bad day out here today. It's looking all grim for the Fordham Rams, Lou.
It's immediate timeout. We have a fan attempting a 42-yarder and a line drive kick that rolls into the end zone. No air under that kick. Just keeping you up to date with the on-field happenings here at Goodman Stadium in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. This Fordham offense has stalled to a standstill, and the special teams really struggling too. So 33-3, Lehigh leads. It's a 30-point lead, and of course Lehigh will be getting the football back. Safety.
Right, that kick from a fan right there might be the closest action Fordham might get to score more points in this game from what we're seeing so far. Can't really pick up a single first down, can't even move the ball from outside of standing in their own end zone. And then on top of that, you muff the punt, force a safety, give Lehigh the ball back. Not sure what you really do here. What you tell the players as a coaching staff at this point?
Evan, you tell me. We kind of remarked in the first half that sideline looked dead. Now it looks like the players on the field look dead, and you have trouble blaming them. Fordham's going to fall to 0-8 today, and this has been really ever since the start of the second quarter non-competitive.
Well, it's hard to find hope at this point. Like you said, winless. You're not expecting to win any games, especially a game you're now down 30 points in. Everything's going poorly. Maybe a sign of hope. Trip Holly, freshman quarterback, warming up on the sideline with his helmet on. Maybe we'll get to see him. That'll be a pretty cool first sight, his first college action of the season.
Trip Holly, listed as having a tackle this year, but has not taken any snaps in college. And I think that might just be a database error, but worth noting. Hazlitt's kick on the safety punt fielded at the 35, but Jamil up past the 50-yard line takes it into Fordham territory. Finally driven back at the 45, got some extracurriculars on the backside as well. Will Hazlitt and a couple players on Lehigh, but Lehigh will take over in Fordham territory. And we'll see for Lehigh if they go into their second-string, third-string guys. I mean, maybe with a young freshman like Hayden Johnson, you just give him all the reps you can get at the quarterback position, but perhaps elsewhere.
Right, we'll see Hayden Johnson get back out here on the field now. Seems to be similar receivers. I can't tell who the back is right
like
now.
Luke Yoder, so that's
Luke Yoder.
Not any of your reserve pieces yet, despite the 30-point lead with 8:18 left in the third. Johnson in the gun, two backs. He hands off Yoder, runs right, immediately met and swallowed up. Claudia Robinson, Trey Bradford, Sam Burkle, all in for the stop. A loss of 2. And some spark on the D-line for the Rams after a successful defensive stand the last drive.
Cloudy Robinson adding to what's already been a really good game. He's been showcasing the thing he's on this team for, to be able to plug the middle, don't allow runs to go right behind the center, either of the guards. Doing a great job of that today.
Clock ticks under 8 minutes, 2nd and 12. From the Fordham 48. Johnson in the gun, 3-receiver tight end set. Snap, handoff to Yoder, bursts up the middle, dives for the 40-yard line. Gain of 5 to make it 3rd and manageable.
Well, like Ben Oppenheimer said, Swiss cheese. Yoder just able to bounce in and out of those holes, get into the second level. Nobody touches him yet, and he'll pick up 5 yards like it was 1 in the blink of an eye.
Jaworski and Courtney having a conversation prior to this 3rd down. Looked like they were confused about something, tried to get on the same page, and ended it with a fist bump. 3rd down and 5, 7:05 to play in the 3rd. Lehigh looking to pick up the 1st down and keep this moving after the safety. Jamil motions across to the far side. 2 receivers on either side. Johnson back to throw, facing pressure. Jaworski gets to him, the ball comes out. Looks like Lehigh falls on it, but that's the first sack of the season for the preseason Defensive Player of the Year, Matt Jaworski.
And he's fired up after that one, punching his chest, staring at the sideline, screaming. I guess that fist pump he got from Mike Courtney really got him going, lit a fire under him as he flies into the backfield. You would have thought he was unblocked. There was a tackle trying to block him. It didn't matter. Gets the strip sack, and then Lehigh ends up falling on that football, so they'll still punt. But what a play by Matt Jaworski, finally getting the sack he has deserved all season long.
That's been a long time coming this season, Evan, and we'll get into that just a bit after this punt as Lehigh out to punt for a 2nd straight drive. Poole sends it spiraling, bounces at the 3 into the end zone, a touchback for Fordham. Well, Matt Jaworski had been playing so well on this defensive line. If you include the tackle for loss earlier in the game, had 11, which is right around the Patriot League lead. 36 tackles, 3rd in the team entering today. Just didn't have the sack. He finally gets one, and it's been a long time coming. He's been in the backfield all season long.
He's been making game-changing plays that haven't been sacks all season long, too, Lou. A punt block versus Lafayette, which was huge, allowed them to stay into that game. Everyone knows when you can block a punt in a football game, it completely changes the momentum. And Coach Conlon said he tells his younger defensive ends the same way he has with James Conway. Look what Jaws does. Follow Matt Jaworski. Do what he does on and off the field because he is an idol. He's what they should be as young Fordham Rams aspire to be. Matt Jaworski, what he's been doing on the defensive side of the football.
Jaworski gets the sack. It's his second tackle for a loss. That gives him the Patriot League lead. And so impressive when you look at how good he's been in the backfield making those tackles for loss that he was right around the Patriot League lead despite having no sacks. I think it's just a testament to how strong he's been. He's been battling with Cooper Blomstrom, who has 6 sacks through 7 games. Jaworski gets his first here, and despite the lack of sacks, I think he might be up for Patriot League Defensive Player of the Year again, certainly in the conversation.
Especially when you look at Hurries. Came into today with 14. He added a couple more, obviously a sack. So when you get into the hurry category and what he's been doing, I mean, we saw in the Stony Brook game, it seemed like every single time a quarterback threw the ball, he was immediately on his backside with number 34 on top of him. Obviously, they haven't been able to come out with a win, so it hasn't been affecting offenses too much with everything else going on this Fordham defense. But besides that, a standalone key part, a bright spot, definitely Matt Jaworski.
And this defense, despite some of the lifelessness that we've talked about coming out in this second half, the defense, 2 strong stands here. I think back to a quote from Mike Courtney, we're never going to stop fighting, control what we can control. That certainly rung true for the defense.
Right, that comes straight from Coach Conlon. He doesn't like to talk about outcomes like winning, like having a good drive, like scoring a touchdown. He likes to talk about the things you need to do to achieve that, catching the ball and turning upfield, playing good offense, playing good defense. The little things are what matter, what you can control.
This is the first snap for the freshman Trip Holly. Hands off to Luffridge. Luffridge carrying defenders up for 2 yards.
2-yard gain, a lot different for the Fordham Rams than a Mountain Hawk 2-yard game. I think that's the theme we've been seeing all game. When the Mountain Hawks get 2 or 3 yards, it's Luke Yoder bursting through the hole. He ends up getting tripped up. Julius Luffridge has to scratch and claw for 2 yards.
Holly back to throw, fires right side, has Cole Thornton at the 30-yard line. Picks up a couple more, gets the first down, and the first completion in the collegiate career of Trip Holly.
Well, we were looking for some hope. I guess we found it right here at number 3. That throw was on the money, on time, right to his number 1 target right there in Cole Thornton.
First and 10 from the 33. Play fake, Holly. Steps up, rolls right. Throws on the run, sends it out of bounds, facing pressure, no one open, and the smart play.
That time a good job by Trip Holly. Gets to the sideline, realizes there's no room to go vertically, get up the sideline, ends up throwing the ball out of bounds. He'll take 2nd down and 10 here.
Fordham, a lot of their investment in the quarterback room goes to C.J. Montez, a junior that with the injury this season will likely be able to come back for at least 2 to 3 more seasons, but nice to give a freshman in Trip Holly some reps, another guy that can maybe work his way into playing. Hands off Luffridge, runs right, now tries to cut up. There's no room, swallowed up for a loss of 1.
Well, now we're seeing the Fordham offensive linemen look really tired and beat up as well. I guess that's been from this Mountain Hawk defensive line really having their way all game long. Multiple linemen on their face after that short run.
Colin Van Roy in at right tackle. We saw Owen Deutsch go down with an injury earlier today. 3rd and 11, 4:45 to go in the third. The Rams trail by 30. Trips right. Holly, play fake. Facing pressure, shrugs off the sack. Running along the far side, will tuck it, brought down at the 35. It's a pickup, about 4 or 5, and Trip Holly, impressively enough, a rusher coming from his blind side doesn't go down.
And you can see the improvisability that Trip Holly has. He rushed for over 500 yards and 11 rushing touchdowns in high school. So someone who knows what to do when the ball's in his hands, not one of those quarterbacks that can't go past the line of scrimmage.
Coach Conlon, this coaching staff, clearly starting to recruit dual threat athletes in this quarterback room that fits the bill of C.J. Montez. They have run a lot of read options, and even Jack Capaldi has the athleticism. We've seen him use his legs. Holly very athletic as well. Punt away from Hazlitt. Bounces at the 37 of Fordham into the hands of Nick Peltekian at the 30-yard line. Promptly shoved out of bounds.
That time a good punt from Will Hazlitt. Seems to be a flag on the field. Not sure who that would be on the Fordham, Hank Perry, and David Evomenia pointing that one's on the Mountain Hawks. So we'll see what the referees have to say about it.
Is holding on the return team, a 10-yard penalty. So from the 30-yard line to the 20-yard line go the Lehigh Mountain Hawks after back-to-back drives being forced to punt, thanks primarily to a stand from this defensive line, which has tightened up a lot of the holes and openings that we saw primarily through the first half.
Right, Matt Jaworski and his big plays kind of firing up that defense, making the defensive line, Claudia Robinson, a big part as well in stopping the run today, which hasn't been their MO, but at times they have been good at forcing this Lehigh offense to pass.
Taking over from their own 20-yard line, 3:49 left to go in the third. Johnson takes himself along the near side, up along the numbers, picks up 5.
Getting to see some freshmen get their first burns here today. Trip Holly on the offensive side of the ball. We alluded to it before. Drew Minnick on the defensive side of the ball. He's a cornerback by trade, playing safety today because he had some experience with that position in high school. And this Fordham Rams defense is very low on safeties right now. Played in every game, but no stats yet as a true freshman. See if he gets one here today.
Well, the starters at the safety position, Andrew Osmond and Mathani Paul Swinson, both injured. The second stringers, Nate Lindsey Gill, Boogie Owens, now out. So it's the third stringers, Trey Bradford, Drew Minnick in at safety. They've played well so far today. 2nd and 4. Handoff, Yoder shrugs off a flying in hit from Trey Bradford, able to pick up 3 to make it 3rd and short. Trey Bradford rushed in with a full head of steam, and Yoder shrugged it off like it was nothing.
Yeah, that shows you the 200-pound, 5'11" strength of Luke Yoder right there from Palm Harbor, Florida. Just bouncing off of tackles. Doesn't matter how fast they're coming at you, like you said, Lou. Trey Bradford looked like he was shot out of a missile. Didn't matter to number 6, Luke Yoder.
2.5 to play in the third. Johnson in the gun on 3rd and 2 with Yoder to his left. Snap. Johnson to throw, quickly left side. Mason Humphrey brought down by Niall Perkins, but not before he makes the grab and picks up the first down at the 33.
Mason Humphrey catching a lot of short passes here today. That's not usually his game. We mentioned he's 6'4", 210 pounds. He's only gone one game so far this season without hauling in a pass of over 20 yards, so doing his job of being a deep ball receiver. But today, switching it up, catching these short balls, showing he could really be the go-to guy.
Mason Humphrey, part of a young receiving core that's starting to emerge here. Johnson, play fake. Pumps the throw, tucks it, and runs to his right. Runs into a lineman, but stays on his feet. Throws on the run. Incomplete. Had an open Logan Galetta. Found a hole in between Trey Bradford and Mike Courtney. Galetta just dropped the ball.
And Johnson, what a play from him. I mean, yet again, supposed to be sacked. Most quarterbacks get sacked in that situation. Able to roll out, make it look like a Mahomes play and throw off of 1 foot, find an open receiver, put it on his numbers, just unable to connect. But the ability to throw from wherever he's standing, throw off either foot, throw off the run with these weird arm angles is a trait of a very good quarterback that a lot of NFL teams look for in quarterbacks.
I think he looks a little Mahomey there.
A little Mahomey.
2nd down and 10, 1:41 to play. Lehigh up by 30. Handoff Yoder, a lane on the left side. He's tripped up. Trey Bradford. Another nice tackle coming from the safety position.
Trey Bradford, a leg tackle demon. He loves going low, likes getting lower on these rushers. Smaller safety coming up and hitting players below the legs, taking out their foundation, not letting them have anything to keep going forward.
4th of the game for Bradford. Starting in his first collegiate game, this is a walk-on that came in, worked really hard to get to this position, and now due to injuries being thrust into a bigger role. Jameel motions to the far side slot. Johnson and empty. The quick throw on the near side. Jameel gets blown up. Kemper a good read on 3rd down. And this Fordham defense playing very soundly here in the second half. It may be a case of too little, too late, but a strong bounce back here by this unit.
Right, finally the Fordham defense doing what they need to do, forcing Lehigh to pass the ball and then coming up and rallying on tackles when they're making these short throws. A good job there by number 14, Alex Kemper, not committing any penalties. A lot of times when receivers don't see D-backs coming, it can lead you to hit them too hard, hit them up high, hit them in the head. A good job of still making a secure, safe, legal tackle by Alex Kemper.
20 seconds and ticking on the third quarter. A one-on-one scoreboard update right around the corner. The punt from Poole bounces at the 25, rolls inside the 20. Down at the 15. 8 seconds to play on our third quarter. The Rams will have a chance at one play before quarters close.
Mason Hatfield, you expect punt returners to usually grab those balls in the air. You don't want them to bounce towards your own end zone, give you less and less yardage. He's getting a little talking to from a coach right now. That might be what he's telling him. You got to go fair catch that ball instead of letting it bounce 5, 10 more yards. Our offense already has a hard enough time moving downfield.
Flag on the kicking team. Will gift Fordham an extra 10 yards. Take them up to the 25.
For the Fordham offense, should be sending back out Trip Holly. Able to see him use his legs really well, Lou. Seems to be more of an improviser-style quarterback out there, not really set in the pocket at any point.
They called the penalty. They did not move the football, so Fordham taking over from their own 15. That was the spot of the original punt. And it is, in fact, Trip Holly in the gun, has Luffridge to his right. Pair of receivers either side. 8 seconds left in the quarter. Holly looks left, rolls out right, throws. It's Luffridge inside the 5, takes it past the 10, 15, 20, 25 as he's tripped up. Enough for the first down. 10-yard gain for Luffridge in the receiving game.
And there's Julius Luffridge. Sometimes you'll have to pass him the ball to get him out in space if your offensive line can't do it themselves. Able to do that there. Lehigh with the defender down, punching the turf in pain. You hope he's all right. We'll try to identify that player.
Looking like Jackson Dowd, one of their starting linebackers this season, sliding into the rover role. He comes off a career-high 10-tackle day and clearly in some pain at the end of the third quarter. Lehigh 33, Fordham 3. It's the freshman Trip Holly in for the Rams, looking to lead them down the field. And with that, we send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. Joe Henry with the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Staying in the world of college football and checking back in on number 12 Notre Dame in the third quarter now against number 24 Navy. The Irish lead 38-14. Kicking off at 3:30, the nation's number 1 ranked team, that's Oregon, hosting number 20 Illinois, the Ducks hoping to keep their undefeated season alive. At 4:15, Vanderbilt, ranked number 25 in the country, their first AP Top 25 ranking in a decade. They'll try to upset the Longhorns, number 5 Texas in town, for an SEC showdown. And for the nightcap, number 14 Texas A&M trying to fend off the visiting number 8 ranked LSU Tigers. That game tonight at 7:30. Back on the hill, how about Fordham Water Polo, ranked number 5 in the nation, took down number 4 Pacific 17-13 yesterday. Fordham now the last remaining undefeated team in the NCAA. And the main event, World Series Game 2 in Los Angeles, with first pitch at 8:08 p.m. It's the Dodgers and the Yankees, Yamamoto and Rodon. Judge, Soto and Stanton, Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman looking for an encore after an instant classic last night. Sending it back to Lou and Evan for the fourth quarter with your scoreboard updates. I'm Joe Henry.
Joe, that was beautifully done. A lot of really good stuff there. World Series Game 2 tonight. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, and our on-site producer, Will Talent, catching Game 1 in our hotel room at a bar a little bit. Split that. And that was a tough ending for the Yankees. This has been a tough one for the Fordham Rams. Real quickly, got to give some love to Fordham Water Polo. Have to think after that win over Pacific, again going out to a West Coast school, beating them by 4 goals. Fordham Water Polo might be the number 4 ranked team in the nation when it's all said and done, maybe even climbing even higher. So stay tuned with Fordham Water Polo, because towards the end of November they go, it's the conference championships, then the NCAAs if they get there. Very exciting stuff for water polo. Not as exciting on the football field, but Trip Holly making his collegiate debut at quarterback, and so far looks pretty solid.
Looks pretty good so far. This Fordham football team can probably learn a thing or two from the Fordham water polo program.
Couldn't we all?
I mean, we could all do that. A very victorious program recently, but right now haven't lost a game. You look at the Fordham football team, haven't won a game yet, so bit of a difference right there between those two programs. Not all sports are the same here at Fordham.
Fordham Water Polo trying to complete another conference championship. They've won 3 straight. They're looking for the 4-peat. One of the most successful programs in Fordham University at the moment, all time as well. Holly in the gun. This is 1st and 10 from the 25. The flea flicker. Luffridge sends it back to Holly, sends it down the field, incomplete. Overthrew a streaking Cole Thornton, who is in double coverage. First time this season we've seen Fordham go with the flea flicker.
Right, the flea flicker right there, trying to get something going, building some momentum. I like the play idea. Wrong read from Trip Holly that time. Like you said, the coverage was rolled towards Cole Thornton. He had two defensive backs on him. Mekhi Felton was wide open, streaking up the hash. Had a DB about 5 yards behind him. That should have been where the ball went, but freshman quarterback out here in his first start, that makes sense.
Play fake. Holly steps up, looking to run right up the middle. 30, head forward to the 34-yard line. He'll be a yard or two short of the first down. Referees rule the knee down at the 33. A run from Trip Holly.
And you see Trip Holly with the dive instead of a slide. He's way more of a dive forward quarterback, not afraid to go mix it up in there with the linebackers.
They call it a gain of 9, 3rd and 1 from the 34. Opening minute of our fourth quarter. Handoff Luffridge, patiently waits, now goes, bursts up the middle and gets the first down, rolling forward to the 40-yard line.
Well, you want some hope. That's exactly what you wanted out of that run play. You needed 3 yards to go pick up a first down. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you can say we can go out there and run the ball for 3 yards and get the first when we need to, that'll turn you into a much better football program.
Fordham trailing by 30. Holly has trips left, hands off Luffridge, wrapped up at the legs, able to fall forward to pick up 2. But Lehigh quickly into the backfield in that handoff.
Yeah, just seeing Lehigh stacking the box right now, knowing Trip Holly is in his first start right now, came into this game in the second half, so probably not settled in. You want to send pressure at him. At the same time, you want to stop Julius Luffridge, so stacking the box kills 2 birds with 1 stone there.
Holly still has trips left on 2nd down and 8. Opening 90 seconds of the fourth quarter. Looks right, scrambles right, throws on the run, and just sends it out of bounds. Facing pressure off the edge from Dylan Sheehan. Sheehan brought him to the ground, and we've got a flag. You wonder if that's going to be unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, the hit seemed low. It seemed on the legs of Trip Holly. We'll see what the referees have to say.
Well, instead, it's holding on the offense, and that is the center, Dylan Haynes. Coach Conlon praised Haynes for how hard and how well he's played in practice and camp this year, making his 2nd start at center. Haynes' holding penalty moves the Rams back 2nd and 18. Knocked back to the 31-yard line. Holly in the gun. 2 receivers either side. Steps up, finds Hatfield out of the backfield. No, it's incomplete. Right through the hands. Fordham facing a 3rd and long with 13-18 left in the 4th.
There, Mason Hatfield on the wheel route. He's open. He's got room to work, too. Just doesn't get the ball. Trip Holly overthrows him right there. Maybe a little antsy when he sees a wide-open receiver, putting too much on that ball.
3rd and 18 and maybe a chance. Depending on how aggressive they're going to play this to see what Fordham's dealing with the arm of Trip Holly. See if they let one loose. Twin receivers either side, 3rd and 18. Holly facing some pressure. Ripped down to the ground at the 23-yard line. The Lehigh pass rush gets to him.
Who else but number 41, Mike DiNucci, getting back into that backfield. He's been living in there all day long. Like you said, excited to see Trip Holly drop back and throw a deep ball. He doesn't get it off. Not able to beat this Lehigh defensive line just yet.
Fordham still limited to the lone field goal that they had in the first quarter. We keep harping on it. That drive in the first quarter was one of the best drives they had orchestrated all season long, but nothing else, no other drive has looked remotely like that today. Hazlitt sends his punt to the 35. It goes through the hands of Peltekian. Fordham falls on it. What do the referees signal? Ram football. Peltekian puts it on the ground. Fordham recovers, and the offense takes over at the Lehigh 30-yard line.
And that's number 0, D. Rice, hopping on the football, a special teams guy, someone we were expecting to see in this game as a safety down there in the depth chart order. Used to be a key player for this Fordham Rams defense. 2021, 2022, started in some games, was all over the field as a safety, has fallen more down the depth chart pretty much every single season since then. So good to see him come up and make a huge play for the Fordham Rams on special teams right there. Give him the ball, send the offense the other way.
Special teams, special players, they're making plays, and Fordham takes over from the Lehigh 29. Play action, design rollout for Holly. Has Matt Buron at the 25, inside the red zone, still going inside the 10. Now brought down right at the 10-yard line, but Buron, the 19-yard reception.
And that's one of those plays you want Trip Holly to run. That's specifically designed for his QB archetype. Get him rolling out. Put a defender in the bind. Will he come up and play Trip Holly? If he does, he'll flip it right over to Buron and let him run.
First and goal from the 9. 2 receivers down low, 1 up top. Luffridge in the backfield. Handoff Luffridge runs up the middle, inside the 5, churning the legs. He's caught in the pile. Give him the gain of 4. Gets Fordham to the 5-yard line, some positive yardage.
Luffridge trying to find the end zone again. He found it 4 times, 2 times in 2 games before the Holy Cross game. In that Holy Cross game, only 18 attempts for 52 yards, but also got into the end zone later on in that game. So even when he's not playing too well, finding his way across the goal line.
11:24 to play in our final quarter. The Rams trail 33-3, but they're in the red zone. Play action, Holly throws. Left side, it's incomplete. Wanted Felton on the out route. Just overthrew him. Was not a ton of space. Felton had 2 defenders trailing him.
Mekhi Felton, no touchdowns in 2024. In 2023, he was second in the Patriot League in receiving touchdowns with 8 of those. He's a shorter receiver, under 6 foot at 5'10", not the type of guy you usually see teams go for in the end zone. But a really good playmaker, somebody that can make things happen in space.
Trip Holly looking for his first collegiate touchdown. The freshman quarterback in right now for the Rams. 3rd and goal from the 5. Holly looks right, steps up. He's brought down at the 10-yard line. DiNucci again. His 3rd sack of the game. And Evan, how aggressive do you play it? You're down 30. Do you just take another shot here?
I think you have to take another shot at the end zone. The last thing you want is the ball to go at the 5-yard line, say, and have Lehigh take it over the other way. With everything pretty much wrapped up in this game, score-wise, win-loss-wise, you pretty much want to go for it here. Just try to score a touchdown, get Trip Holly going.
4th and goal from the 11. The Fordham Rams trail 33-3, and it's their freshman quarterback, Trip Holly, in the gun. Takes the snap, facing pressure, steps up to run. 10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Trip Holly. His first touchdown of the career, and it comes on the ground, an 11-yard rushing touchdown. Fordham has their first touchdown of the game.
Well, you see what a rushing quarterback can do for your offense, especially down here in the red zone. Pro quarterbacks say it all the time. It's so hard to score in the red zone because there's no vertical room. You have to go east to west. The best way to combat that is with a running quarterback that can stretch the defense with his own legs that direction, able to do that and juking multiple linebackers out, Lou, before getting into that end zone. Truly a really good runner.
At the end of that play, Garrett Cody, the graduate student wide receiver, very slow to get up. And he will walk slowly to the sideline. Cody, a guy that has dealt with injuries this season, missed a pair of games, returned for the Lafayette game. But between the struggles of this passing game, just feels like he's been limited both snap-wise and production-wise.
Right, Lou, haven't got him going at all. 1 reception for 39 yards against Holy Cross. They kept trying to go for him, but those just aren't Garrett Cody's stats. We'll see if he can get back there on the field.
The Rams going for 2. Holly in the gun. Luffridge motions into the backfield. 2 receivers either side. A flinch from the defense. Holly points. He gets the flag. 10:27 left in the 4th quarter. It's 33-9 after the Trip Holly rushing touchdown. And now an offsides by the Lehigh defensive line will make this an easier 2-point conversion attempt for the Rams.
And Colin Van Roy, big number 68 over there at right tackle, now filling in for Owen Deutsch, who was filling in for Cooper LaFont. So like we're saying, getting down and down that depth chart, doing a good job, forcing the defense to go offsides and then slapping their hand, forcing the flag.
The ball spotted at the 1-yard line. Holly in the gun, Luffridge offset left. It's the handoff to Luffridge, surges up the middle. This will be close, he got there. 2-point conversion, Julius Luffridge. It is 33-11, and for the first time in quite a while, the Fordham offense has some life. Still trailing by 22, but a productive drive by the offense led by the freshman Trip Holly.
Right, absolutely led by Trip Holly, not just managed by Trip Holly. Not he played good enough for the offense to score there. He was the reason the offense have scored, got into the end zone using his own legs, broke a bunch of tackles on many different plays during that drive, seemed to make the right play a lot, looked like a veteran quarterback on times on that drive when he knew when to throw the ball away, knew when to take a sack. It's hard to do that as a good runner. You want confidence in yourself to be able to break any tackle, break any sack when that's your game. But very veteran poise from a freshman quarterback there. And number 3, Trip Holly, the freshman from Dallas, Texas.
A Texas product. I think of the 3 freshman quarterbacks that they brought in this offseason, they're most excited about Trip Holly, and he gets the first reps when they decide to bench Capaldi here in the third quarter.
Showing you reason to be more and more excited. That's what you want in these games where the win-loss is kind of already decided. When you're in that fourth quarter and it's kind of no man's land, you want those players that are lower on the depth chart that are going to be playing in the future to come in and show you that they have potential. There's hope for this team, maybe not this season, but next season with Trip Holly, all these younger players coming up, Jack Capaldi getting better in these games. You want to see experience, you want to see progress.
Trip Holly, an 11-yard rushing touchdown, the first touchdown of his career. And gives Fordham their first touchdown of the game. 33-11 the score with 10:27 to play in the fourth quarter. And Evan, as we take a look at the Patriot League, probably the biggest matchup in the conference, maybe all season long today. Lafayette hosting Holy Cross. Holy Cross goes up 21-0 in the first half. Lafayette storming back-to-back touchdowns. The most recent one, a Dean DeNoble run. It is 21-14, and that game could very well decide who wins the conference championship. Lafayette came in the preseason favorites. It's Holy Cross at 2-0 to start conference play. Those feel like the 2 best dogs.
Easily the 2 biggest dogs in the Patriot League. I think everyone knew that, like you said, coming into the season, 2 really good cultures, 2 teams that have pretty good quarterbacks on their sides. Dean DeNoble, Joe Pasansky. Good to see how that one turns out. Fordham, of course, had to play those 2 top dogs in their first 2 games of Patriot League play. Just how the Fordham season's been going so far. Everything stacked against them.
The Rams, barring a miracle, are going to fall to 0-3 in conference play, and playoff hopes, conference title hopes that were likely already dwindling to nothing will be effectively killed by a loss today. But teams like Lehigh, teams like Colgate that are maybe hanging on by a thread, not favorites but hoping to stay in the mix, got to be rooting for Lafayette to beat the undefeated Holy Cross right now. Pooch kick by Henderson, taken to the left side and out of bounds, shy of the 30-yard line by Lehigh. Holy Cross, they've won 5 straight Patriot League titles, the first 4 outright. Last year, Lafayette caught up to them, and now it feels like a 2-horse race, but Lafayette was, I think, the overwhelming favorites coming into the season. 12 of 14 first-place votes. Holy Cross didn't receive first-place votes for the first time in a while, but clearly, despite all the talent that exited, they're still here to play.
And a great game going on right now in one of the biggest games of the season. This is almost a playoff game. And a lot of words, Lou. I mean,
Holy Cross just jumped back out. Clairvaux, the touchdown's 28-14. We'll keep tabs on that. That might be a little quick look at who wins the Patriot League title. Back on the field. Roll out by Johnson. Throws on the run. The diving attempt by Mason Humphrey, but that pass looked like it skipped in there.
Going for Mason Humphreys in short yardage again, really trying to open his game up. Try not to just limit him to a deep ball receiver, get him going in different aspects of the field.
Incompletion for Hayden Johnson, and you do wonder if one of the reasons that Fordham's had more success defensively in this half is that they're letting Hayden Johnson throw the football, and at times it's looked a little wonky or a little ugly. Johnson stands in the gun. Now whistles and a stoppage. And our referees are going to review that last play. It was a diving attempt head first by Mason Humphrey. I think to the eye it looked like an incompletion. Johnson didn't get a ton on that throw. Humphrey had to really come back to get that football, but they'll take a look.
You don't usually see plays get reversed in the Patriot League either. There used to be jokes around that there's an iPhone 4S that's recording for the Patriot League, so there's not too much footage to really look at to see if that gets changed, but I doubt that one gets overturned to a reception.
Hayden Johnson, you look at the stats today, if that incompletion stands, 5 of 10, 93 yards, a touchdown. He's been sacked once. Maybe not the banner day. He's also rushed for 17 yards, but clearly there's value the same way there is for Fordham in getting these freshmen extended looks in real game-time situations when you have the opportunity. And Johnson is going up against the first-teamers on that Fordham defense.
And you mentioned they're throwing the ball with Johnson in this situation. This is clearly a run-the-ball situation. You're up by 30 points in the fourth quarter. This would be a run-the-ball situation for any football team. Nonetheless, a team that's rushed for 200 yards in multiple games this season. That's entire offense is based off running the ball, so it just goes to show that they're working Hayden Johnson right now. They're using this Fordham defense kind of as a practice unit for Hayden Johnson to go out there and get some reps throwing the ball for later on in the season.
The referees overturn the call. It's a completion to Mason Humphrey. Second down and manageable for Lehigh. 10:05 and ticking. The handoff to Yoder takes it right. Met quickly driven back. Yoder doing his best to stay on his feet. And he'll pick up about 4 yards to make this 3rd and 1.
That time, Matt Jaworski, Mike Courtney, Jackson Barletta all together on that tackle, showing you that the leaders, the blocks in this defense aren't going to give up in any football game. They're going to go out there and play to the final whistle.
3rd down and 1. The clock ticks under 10 minutes in our fourth quarter. Fordham stacking the box. Handoff Yoder. Shoots up the middle. Met quickly by this defensive line. Driven back. But still has the distance for the first down. Picks up 2. The chains move.
Now finally falling back into the run the ball Lehigh scheme that we're used to seeing. Probably using a little less of Johnson here, seeing the clock continue to tick. Some football formalities going on. Usually at this point, you're just running the ball if you're up by that much, unless it's 3rd down.
Lehigh certainly in a position to run the football, even after the touchdown score by the Rams. Lehigh up 33-11. Less than 9 to play here in the game. Keeping it himself is Johnson. Takes it up the near side, cutting up along the hash. Picks up a couple past the line of scrimmage.
That'll bring us to 3rd down here. Expect to see Johnson passing again. Maybe a bigger Rams pass rush this time, sending some blitzers, trying to get him off his spot, off his timing.
Johnson joined by Aaron Crossley, the freshman running back in the backfield. Wide receiver bunch on the left side. 2nd and 6, 8:20 to play. Snap, play fake, keeping it again is Johnson. This time brought down from behind Jaworski. And another tackle for loss to the leisure as Jaworski having a banner day despite the outcome on the scoreboard.
Well, Coach Conlon talks about right now plays as defensive lineman, which is where you look unblocked because you beat the offensive lineman that badly, and what that can do for offenses. And no one's better at it in the Patriot League, maybe in the entire FCS, than Matt Jaworski, truly lighting up this league.
3rd down and 6 after the tackle off the edge by Jaworski. Jaworski will line up on the far side edge with the left tackle for this play. 7:30 left to go. Johnson back to throw. Facing pressure. Brought down. Carter Hess. The freshman gets the first sack of his collegiate career. And he'll force the punting unit out.
Carter Hess get you a sack. There you go. You want to see the younger players, the freshmen coming into this game, showing some promise, showing some life, giving some hope. They're doing it right now.
It's been a strong half of football for this Fordham defense. Allowed only a field goal.
Wow.
In one half of play in this second half. It's Connor Poole out to punt. Poole stands inside his own 20-yard line. Bounces at the 42, rolls inside the 35. I have to usher a correction. The only points today for Lehigh in this second half coming on the safety. Back early in the 3rd quarter when Fordham was trapped inside their own end. But no points scored by the Fordham offense, or crash that, the Lehigh offense in this half. It's been very sound football for the Fordham defense.
And they haven't been changing up their plans. They've actually been throwing the ball a little bit more maybe if they're Lehigh. So that's not really their MO, but you usually expect teams to not score in the second half when they scored 31 points in the first half because they're only running the ball and they don't really care. So the Fordham offense playing pretty well against a team that's truly trying to advance the ball downfield and score on them. Just not happening in the second half.
6:42 left in this one. Lehigh 33, Fordham 11. Wrapping up this matchup in Pennsylvania, Week 9 of college football. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, it's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Orlando, Evan Harkin, our on-site producer, Will Talent. Lehigh 33, Fordham 11. Fordham with the ball back after a sack from the freshman defensive lineman Carter Hess. Once again, just looking to see positive progress, positive plays on these remaining offensive drives after Trip Holly got his first rushing touchdown of his career last time out.
Yeah, finally seeing the backups out now, but on that last drive you were talking about, Lou, there was not backups out there. Full starters out there for Lehigh. Trip Holly moving the ball down the field by his own, pretty much leading the way down the field with the Fordham offense, scoring the touchdown with his own legs. We'll see if he can execute again here against a backup unit for the Mountain Hawks.
Luffridge still out for the Rams. It's a play fake. Holly forced to roll out left, facing a ton of pressure. He's brought down around the line of scrimmage. Actually picks up a couple of yards there. An impressive job of Trip Holly doing circles in the backfield, eventually steps up and picks up 2.
Yeah, probably ran for a total of about 50 yards right there, just running backwards, side to side in the backfield, but ends up getting positive yards there. A good play from him.
6:15 to play. The Rams trail by 22. Holly throws right side way over the head of Cole Thornton. I think you see some of the freshman woes, some of the stuff that he needs to work out accuracy-wise, as that one was nowhere close.
Right, the second time where a receiver's open, Trip Holly has his feet set, and I think he gets too antsy, too excited seeing a wide-open receiver, trying to get those numbers up, just fires it too hard, too much mustard on it over his head. But Cody Johnson, the center, coming, telling him, calm down, giving him a pat on the helmet after that incompletion.
3rd down and 8. Holly looks right. Throws over the middle. It's incomplete. Maybe had Cole Thornton open again. The throw sails a bit high.
That time, a little bit of pressure on Trip Holly, but one he'll probably tell you he should have completed. That's another time Cody Johnson will give him a tap on the chest and tell him, let's go, you're all good. Kind of the type of player where when it's in a crazy play, he can make a really good one out of it with his legs and improvise, still working on that core aspect of being a quarterback and hitting open receivers while they're there.
Fordham trailing by 22 with 6:02 left in the 4th, and they'll let the offense go for it. 4th and 8. Ball spotted at the 36. Holly has trips left, motions read across. Play fake. Holly immediately faces pressure, rolls out to his right, tucks it and runs past the 40, past the first down marker. Trip Holly does it with his legs once again, gets up to the 45.
Yeah, we've been saying a lot that Trip Holly doesn't really look like a freshman quarterback right there. That time, elite pocket presence. The way he was able to keep his eyes downfield, use his feet to move in and out of that pocket, weave in and out of it, and then advance when he knew he had to. Looked very senior-esque, did not look like a true freshman at quarterback.
5.5 to play. Play action. Holly throws middle, tipped and incomplete. That one, Bryson Edwards got a finger on. Had a crossing route there. Cole Thornton, the intended receiver, once more.
Yeah, this receiving core just not able to get it going yet again today. It's not all their fault. There's a lot of things that go into a receiver catching the ball. The offensive line blocking well, the quarterback throwing a good football, but the receiving core just not really helping out either quarterback today so far.
Freshman Jack Freeberg in the near side slot. Holly takes the snap, looks left, throws left. Gonzalez at the 50-yard line, immediately knocked to the ground by Adderley. But a 5-yard reception for the sophomore Gonzalez.
Adderley with another big play in this game, a second stringer, showing that he should be on the field more for the Mountain Hawks.
3rd down and 5. Adderley's had a nice day, got the start. After missing some time with injury, he's worked his way back, and he looks sharp today. 3rd and 5 from the 50. Clock ticks under 5 minutes. Play action. Quick throw left side. That's Freeberg. Around the 47-yard line. He's a yard or two short of the first down marker, but first reception of the day for the freshman Freeberg.
Matt Freeberg, a freshman that we saw a lot in that first scrimmage, Lou. We saw the Fordham offensive coordinators have a lot of confidence in him, throwing him the ball in every situation. And then Coach Conlon let us know he's a little different than every other freshman. He's kind of seen here, third most receptions in Arizona high school history.
A 40-yard touchdown against Monmouth. This is 4th and 1 for the Rams. 4.5 to play. High snap, handoff Luffridge, shoots up the middle, extends past the 45-yard line, has the distance for the first down, and Fordham stays alive.
That's just a great second effort by Julius Luffridge, which he shows on every single play. The amount of times I've seen him get tackled in that exact same way, where he's scratching, clawing, and using his hands to fall forward for as much inches as he can get. That time picks up a first down.
Now Jeff Cicio trying to hop to the sideline. He can't get there. Finally keels over in pain. Injuries catching up to the Rams today. And that will take an injury timeout. Lehigh 33, Fordham 11. 4:01 left in the game. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, our on-site producer, Bill T, William Talent. 4:01 left to go. Lehigh 33, Fordham 11. Following the injury timeout for Jeff Cicio, and it has not, even on this drive and the last one, has not always looked smooth or consistent. But Trip Holly, the freshman quarterback, finding ways to pick up yardage, pick up the yards on first downs, on fourth down attempts. Last time out, or last attempt, the handoff to Luffridge, he keeps the drive alive. Fordham just doing enough to keep getting these reps offensively.
Right, Jeff Cicio now jogging, kind of doing a little shuffle. Some good signs for him, able to use that ankle at least a little bit. He's had a lot of trouble there, but like you're saying, Trip Holly's showing that when a play breaks down, he has the ability to turn it into a positive one, which is a great sign. He just has to work on the structural aspects of hitting receivers while they're open, keeping his feet set, those little things that are going to come with experience. But I think he's showing talent and then some in this game here to these Fordham coaches.
4:08 left to go, and Fordham will fall to 0-8. They'll fall to 0-3 in conference play, and that will eliminate them from playoff contention. Freeburg motions across. Snap to Holly, play action. Scrambles to his left, tucks it past midfield, 45 out of bounds. Right past the 45-yard marker, that's the line of scrimmage.
Trying to get Jack Freeburg going there, get him in motion. They send him on a comeback route. He's a little open, Trip Holly running to his left. He's a righty, so then he'll have to turn his body, kind of like a shortstop would have to, and throw across it. Unnatural for him, unable to get it to Freeburg.
2nd and 10 after no gain for Holly. Luffridge still remains in the backfield to the right of Holly. Play action, design rollout to the right for Holly. Throws on the run, Buron at the 40 to the 35. Has the first down, he's met there. That is a similar play to what we saw on the previous drive. Design rollout, find Buron in the flat, picks up the first.
Yeah, exact same play, and that looks like Trip Holly's play. I mean, get him out, make an outside linebacker choose. Am I going to cover Matt Buron, or am I going to go up and play the run on Trip Holly? Whichever he picks, the opposite is going to have an effect.
1st and 10 snap. Holly looks right. This is Luffridge out of the backfield. Gets the line of scrimmage. 30. Trucks forward and out of bounds past the 30-yard line. Julius Luffridge picks up his first reception of the game.
Luffridge, 12 receptions, now 13 on the season. Came in with 116 receiving yards, so he can get it done in the passing game. They really give him the ball in short situations. Also, not really long passes, looking for him to run after he catches the ball.
Luffridge, 16 attempts, 68 yards on the ground for 4.3 per carry. Again, another day where it feels like the game script has not allowed for Fordham to rush the football successfully. 2nd and 6. After the 4-yard reception from Luffridge. Play action. Holly throwing for the end zone on the near side. Touchdown! Thornton got the feed in. No, they say incomplete. Thornton wide open on the streak route. Had 5 yards of separation. Holly threw it to him. Maybe a split second too late. Thought maybe Thornton was able to slap one of the feet down. He didn't.
Yeah, Cole Thornton will probably tell you that one's on him from a receiver standpoint. Receivers are always going to tell you that. But Thornton definitely an opportunity there, especially with how athletic he is, to drag that back foot. You only need one in college. He could have dragged a foot there and got it in. But like you said, Trip Holly could have left more room there for him as well.
3rd and 6. Holly off the back foot. This is Luffridge at the 35. Gets to the 30. Head forward, aiming for the 25-yard line. That's where the first down is, and Luffridge a yard or two short.
Screenplay there again for Luffridge, just trying to get number 15 the ball and work it out in space. We saw it work really well against Bowling Green, Lou, when they were able to get the ball to their running back and let him bounce around, get downfield towards the end zone. This time he gets bottled up by that Lehigh defense.
So 4th and 2, we reach the 2-minute timeout here from Goodman Stadium, and Fordham will go for it when we come back. Lehigh 33, Fordham 11. It's Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV.
Brian Gregory here, joined with Michael Calamari and Andrew Galata, 3 of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's only baseball podcast.
Tune in every week as we recap the latest from the Bronx and Queens, as well as news from around the MLB.
You can listen to Nosebleeds on Apple, Spotify, WFUVsports.org, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases all season long with the Nosebleeds podcast on WFUV Sports.
Blue Orlando, Evan Harkin, the final 2 minutes of Week 9. Fordham football versus Lehigh. Fordham trails 33-11. It's a 4th and 2 deep in Lehigh territory, and I don't know if you get any shades of deja vu here, Evan. I think back to 2 weeks ago against Holy Cross, a 4th and 2 at the end of the first half. It was a read option play that Fordham's run a lot. You called it up in the booth before they ran it. We talked to Coach Conlon after the game, and that was when he said, yeah, Jack's got to make that read. He said, I'm not saying it's a touchdown, but Luffridge would have had the first down and then way more than a first down.
Right, you wonder, will they run the read option here again? You're mentioning deja vu. It looked the exact same. Both teams in a huddle in their timeouts. 4th and 2 from around the same spot on the field, heading in the same direction. I honestly hope they don't run a read option. There's no back in the backfield, so they can't, because I don't want to watch that happen again to these Fordham Rams on 4th down and 2.
Trip Holly and empty. He's going to trips right. Mackay Felton, Ricky Gonzalez to his left. Fordham trailing by 11 or by 22. They've got 11 on the scoreboard. Holly steps up. The QB draw, picks up the first down. He's inside the red zone. Oh, a nice run by Trip Holly. Picks up 7. I don't know if they had that one on their bingo card. Lehigh had the middle of the field wide open there.
Right, everyone expecting the read option there. That time the line had everyone else outside. Trip Holly will take the QB draw up the middle for the first down. A lead play by him. There was a flag on that play.
You heard the call. Face mask on Lehigh, half the distance to the goal. Fordham was around the 20-yard line, so that should give them 10 yards. Yes, puts them at the 10. First and goal from the 10, and another chance for Trip Holly to pick up a touchdown here. He's used his legs a lot.
Used them a lot, used them really well. That's been his best asset. It really stretches out a defense in a lot of different ways when a quarterback has to be accounted for in the run-fit game.
Holly joined by Luffridge in the backfield. Gonzalez all alone to the left side. Thornton and Mackay Felton on the right side. They have adjusted on the scoreboard. They say the ball spotted at the 9. First down snap. Play action. Holly throws right side for Mackay Felton. Incomplete. Throw into the back corner. But nice coverage from Davis Rice.
Really nice coverage there from Davis Rice. all over Mekhi Felton. Nowhere to put that football. Davis Rice, 6'3" sophomore, kind of a rover player. He can play linebacker. He can play safety. He can play corner. Done all of that this season. Interception against LIU, too. Another big play today.
He's an all-state safety in high school in Lehigh. A big fan of that rover position ever since Kevin Cahill came over and took the job last season. 2nd and goal from the 9, 1:50 to play. Holly gives it to Julius Luffridge, running left, 5-yard line, into the end zone, touchdown Fordham. Julius Luffridge gets a late score. Fordham up to 17 points on the day prior to the extra point. So 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter from the Rams, seeing some positive stuff on offense to work off of.
Absolutely. Now the second time in a row you got down into the red zone off of your freshman quarterback's legs and were able to cap it off with your best player, Julius Luffridge. Death taxes and a Julius Luffridge touchdown. Doesn't matter how poorly the Fordham offense is playing. Seems like he'll get you around 100 and a touchdown or 2 in every game.
Fordham going for 2 once more. Holly looks left, facing pressure, steps up to run, eyeing the end zone. He'll get there untouched. Trip Holly uses his legs, converts the 2-point conversion, and Fordham trailing 33-19. It's a 14-point game.
We're seeing Trip Holly not only use his legs really well speed-wise, really good at juking. He has great vision for a quarterback, able to see when he should tuck right away, which hole he should get through, has the vision of a really good running back already. Hasn't been playing in any games. This is his first appearance in a college football game. I wouldn't be surprised if he's really good in a few seasons, Lou.
That is a professional play there. Scanning the field, looking for his receivers, doesn't see anything, tucks it and runs. Maybe an extended version of a QB draw there. Clear athleticism to work with in a, I would say, hard-nosed football, head-down running kind of thing that you don't always see from quarterbacks.
Like I said, a diver, not a slider. He's the type of guy that's going to lunge forward, not afraid to put his body on the line because he knows he can do damage with it against defenses, even as a quarterback. Came off of the field. This is his first time in a football game. He goes out there on Lehigh's field, scores 2 touchdowns on 2 straight drives. Didn't even look too excited. Looked calm and composed, the way you want your quarterback to look throughout the game.
Looks like this will be the onside kick for Fordham. Henderson kicks it left. It's a line drive, fielded by Lehigh. They drop it on the ground. But then looks like they recover at the 45. Fordham has 3 timeouts. There's 1:43 left to play. And I do think they're going to use those timeouts just because motivated by the idea of getting Trip Holly some more reps here.
Right, if you're going to go ahead and onside kick that right there, you pretty much have to go use the timeouts afterwards. You're saying you want the ball back, you want to stop the clock, you want to get Trip Holly more run, but if you were able to get that ball right there on the onside kick, maybe still a chance you could win this game. It would be super slim, but in a 2-score game, could go down and score twice within 1:43 seconds. Now you're going to have to use those timeouts. That would have helped you. Kind of puts a cap on the game, but we'll see if the defense can continue to play well throughout the second half.
The starters out there for Fordham defensively. Johnson in the gun with Green to his left. Hands off Green, up the middle, hops past for 5 yards, breaks off a tackle. First down, past the 30-yard line, hard running from Jaden Green. You can call that a 16-yard carry. Fordham stops the clock at 1:36, so the clock stops for now as they move the first down markers per collegiate rules. Now the clock continues to run, and now the timeout from the Rams.
Yeah, a lot of timeouts and time keep going right there. But Joe Connon, like you said, calling that timeout, interesting to see. They pretty much needed to not allow a first down, get the 3 and out, get the ball back. Instead, it turns into a Lehigh first down on the first play of that drive. Kind of caps off the game if it wasn't already finished. But Joe Connon, like you said, motivation, you got to use those timeouts from a respect standpoint to your players.
Think back to that. I'm still thinking about that onside kick. You don't see a ton that are really hard line drives, and I think Bennett Henderson there was trying maybe to clip someone in that first row of Lehigh players and hope that Fordham could fall on it, because usually you see the slow kicks.
We've seen it a lot more lately in that Alabama-Georgia game. It worked to perfection. It was the Ohio State-Oregon game that was actually in. Kicking it into a defender, trying to hit his face mask, hit something really hard and cause a bounce instead of trying to lay it out right there in the 10-yard span. A little bit easier for kickers.
1st and 10 from the 36. This is Green again up the middle. This time not much room to work with. Fordham stops the clock again with their second timeout. Clock freezes at 1:31.
a second timeout from Fordham. Still competing in this game, still coming up, making tackles, trying to force a 3-and-out here. At least give Trip Holly the chance to go run around in that backfield again and launch some footballs downfield.
If you're just tuning in, this one all but wrapped up. Lehigh up by 14 with 90 seconds to play, and they were up by a lot more than that a few minutes ago. At one point, a 33-3 lead. Fordham put in their freshman quarterback, Trip Holly, and that's seen back-to-back scoring drives. Trip Holly, an 11-yard rushing touchdown. Julius Luffridge, a 9-yard rushing touchdown. And that has the Rams with a more respectable 19 points on the scoreboard.
And not that Jack Capaldi played poorly in this game, has been playing poorly this season by any means, but Trip Holly been playing really well in this game so far. He's now surpassed him in passing yards and rushing yards and touchdowns. Makes you wonder if we'll see more of Trip Holly this season.
That will be a big question. Green makes the first man miss, but now he's blown back as Fordham quickly gets hats to the football. The Rams use their final timeout, stop the clock with 1:27. If they get a stop here, they do have a chance to maybe get the ball back with, say, 30 seconds left or so.
Right, you need to stop here. Can't allow a kick. Interested to see if Lehigh will go for the kick in this range. Where would the kick be around here, Lou?
Looking at the ball spotted at the 26-yard line. Let's do some quick math. That's about 43 yards. Would be a career long for Nick Garrido, and I think you raised a good point. You're already up 14 points here. The game's all but wrapped up. You maybe don't want to worry about any funny business on special teams, a blocked kick, a big return, anything like that. You can just run, kill the clock. Oh, you're the analyst. You tell me.
Take the fourth down, like you're saying. Run, kill the clock, turn the ball over on downs. Give Fordham the ball on the 25-yard line. That offense should struggle on its own. It shouldn't need anything else.
1:27 to play. 3rd and 6. Snap, handoff Green. He's blown up, met right away. Flying in for the tackle. I think that's that man again, Matt Jaworski, and another tackle for loss to his ledger. Fordham, no timeouts. They can't stop the clock, but Jaworski can certainly make plays in the backfield.
And it's big for your leaders to not give up in moments like this. Matt Jaworski knows that this game is over. He knows that there's no real impact on that play in terms of outcomes in this game for a win for Fordham. He just knows he's going out there to ball, and he's going to ball at 100%, and that's what everybody else on this team should be doing. Full effort, full attitude, full responsibility at all time. Matt Jaworski showing his players that that's what he does. That's what needs to be infectious throughout the team.
Interesting to note, because we talked with Coach Conlon going into this game, anticipated that James Conway would play. Conway didn't dress, but he talked about the impact that Ryan Greenhagen has had on him, certain leaders at the best positions, best players at the best positions, showing the way for the next set of guys. And we asked if that is something he tries to do. We had heard the stories that when Conway first got here, Conlon said, do everything Greenhagen does. And then when Jalen Dawson, the freshman linebacker, came in here, Conlon said, do everything that Conway does. We asked about, do you do that at every position? One of the leaders he mentioned as a great example for players is Matt Jaworski.
Yeah, he mentioned older Matt Jaworski, that with age, he keeps getting more and more responsible, more and more experienced, better at teaching these younger players how to be a true college football player at the Division I level. A guy that seems to be making an impact on fellow defensive end John Scott, only a sophomore, a young guy, has been here under Matt Jaworski in that defensive end position, kind of to his number 2 to Jaworski's number 1. Now breaking out in his second season, Conlon, quote-unquote, expected that from John Smith, saying he was elite in high school, he's athletic enough to go out there and be one of the best players in the Patriot League.
4th down and 9, 46 seconds left. The handoff, Green shoots up the middle, caught at the 35-yard line, trying to push the pile forward. He will, but he'll still be a few yards short of the first down marker. Fordham forces the turnover on downs. They take over with 38 seconds left, no timeout, but maybe 3 or 4 more plays for Trip Holly to end this day.
Yeah, and it looks like they'll send a mix of the starters. You'll see the starting offensive line just got into the huddle along with Trip Holly, along with Julius Luffridge, a little bit of a mix-up in that receiver room. Saw Jack Freeberg getting out there. Cole Thornton still out there, Mekhi Felton, maybe Jack Freeberg just moving his way into this true number 1 lineup.
Jack Freeberg, you kind of mentioned it. A freshman they were excited about, obviously a deep wide receiver core coming into the year, but as the playoff hopes dwindle, maybe the focus shifts to developing some of these younger guys. Holly in the gun, he's back to throw. Fakes and tucks it and runs past the 30, again head forward, driving through a defender. down at the 33-yard line. It's a first down. They move the chains, and that's important. It freezes the clock at 29. Fordham will be ready to snap when the chains reset. Here's the snap. Holly back to throw again. Facing pressure. Steps up. Hit as he throws. Almost intercepted. The diving attempt by Bryson Edwards. First time today that we've seen Holly really have trouble with getting hit as he throws.
Yeah, there in 2 plays, you can see the benefits and the negatives of being reckless at the quarterback position. And before that, a truck for the first down. He goes headfirst into a linebacker, lays him out, gets the first down over him, and then tries to throw a pass that's dangerous. He knows it's dangerous, but he wants to go out there and be a playmaker. Almost gets picked off. Lucky it wasn't.
18 seconds left in this one. Fordham trailing by 14. They've got the ball at their own 33. Play fake. Holly forced back by a big pass rush. He's brought down inside the 20. A couple guys coming off the edge. And that is Matt Spatney that ends up with the tackle and the sack, his second of the day.
Matt Spatney leading the Patriot League in sacks, one of the best defensive players in the league, not only on Lehigh's roster, able to get to Trip Holly as the clock expires.
Spatney's stack. That brings us to a close in this one. The final score, Lehigh 33, Fordham 19. And from the Rams' perspective, they fall to 0-8, 0-3 in Patriot League play. You can wave goodbye any hopes of a Patriot League title, of an FCS postseason berth, and maybe even more notably, Jack Capaldi benched in the third quarter, and you see positive reps from the freshman Trip Holly, an offense that scores 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Lou, like you're saying, there was positives towards the end of this game. Yes, the season is confirmed over now. You kind of knew that coming into the game in terms of winning the Patriot League, but there's still hope. There's still next season. You still want to develop these young guys that we saw out there doing a good job today. Colin Van Roy, Trip Holly, players on the defensive side like Drew Minnick. We saw young guys all over the field show that they have talent, and with that, they can get better and become really good players.
Julius Lufford, 17 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown. A bit of a bounce back from the performance against Holy Cross, but it was the Lehigh rushing attack that got them there. Jaden Green, 147 yards and a touchdown. Luke Yoder, 75 yards. Hayden Johnson comes in for most of the second quarter on, and while his stats don't leap off the scoreboard, they didn't need to. It was the Lehigh ground game that got it going. They were up 30-3 at halftime.
And that started up front. This Lehigh offensive line came to play today, showing the Patriot League that these 4 returners are back. A lot of their offensive linemen that were starters last year getting hurt, missing a bunch of games, some of them missing the entire season. Now they're back. You're seeing what 2 really good running backs can do.
Yeah.
When they have effective offensive line in front of it, and it should be scary for the rest of the league.
Matt Jaworski on the defensive end, 10 tackles.
Well, it's really not going to be a very long post game. Like, it'll be an interview after the interview with them, or are we essentially basically done?
Well-deserved for Matt Jaworski.
Wrapping up.
Literally lives in the back.
So right
there,
after the
seems to be
interview, I'll
back
just wrap
there
it up. Okay.
as if he was unblocked, like I've been saying earlier today. But people are blocking him. They're double teaming at times. It really doesn't matter at this point. Matt Jaworski just dominating offensive lines.
Well, for Lehigh, they improved to 4-3. They get their first conference win of the season. It's a sneaky team, maybe looking to make some noise in conference play. And a lot of that will be dictated on what happens in today's Holy Cross Lafayette game. You said it to me off air. That's basically the Patriot League championship right there. If Lafayette's able to knock down Holy Cross up by 10 right now, then it's kind of anyone's path. Like Lafayette lost to Georgetown in a surprise upset earlier in the season that opened up things in the Patriot League, opens up room for teams like Lehigh. Fordham Rams back in action next Saturday. They're at home for just the 3rd time this season, taking on Colgate at 1 p.m. That game right back here on 90.7 FM. Wrapping up things here for our on-site producer, Will Talent, my analyst, Evan Harkin. I'm Lou Orlando. Once again, the final score, Lehigh 33, Fordham 19. Fordham falls to 0-8. Fordham football on 90.7 FM. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios. It's the one-on-one postgame show with Ben Oppenheimer and Frank Spicuzza.
The one-on-one postgame report.
Welcome to the one-on-one postgame show for today's Fordham football game at Lehigh. I'm Ben Oppenheimer, along with my co-host Frank Spicuzza, back here in our Rose Hill studio in the Bronx. The Rams played marginally better in the second half of this one, but it surely wasn't enough as they lost at Lehigh 33-19, making Fordham now 0-8 on the season. But before we get into the negatives, let's get into one highlight for today's game in the second half. In the fourth quarter, with around 11 minutes left, in a brief ray of sunshine for the Rams, Fordham scored their first touchdown of the game, which was an 11-yard rushing touchdown, courtesy of freshman quarterback Trip Holly.
Takes the snap, facing pressure, steps up to run. 10, 5, end zone, touchdown! Trip Holly! His first touchdown of the career, and it comes on the ground, an 11-yard rushing touchdown. Fordham has their first touchdown of the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, Frank, this is a great opportunity for players, young players, such as Trip Holly, to really get their feet wet and see what impact they can have in, I don't know if garbage time is the right word, because that's a bit blunt, but certainly in a game that was out of their reach at that point, and you like what you saw from Trip Holly. What do you think, Frank?
Well, Ben, obviously more than happy to be back here in the studio with you, but obviously not on these terms. However, picking apart some of the good pieces, you cannot help but look at Trip Holly's performance in that second half there. Garbage time, while technically the politically correct term, is not one that I would use, because I think this is going to be the key to the rest of Fordham's game here. At least their season, making players like Holly see the field more and more, and building up that young core they have.
Well, we have our two broadcasters from today's game calling back in, Lou Orlando and Evan Harkin. Great call today, guys, and
appreciate you.
Yeah, and it's great to hear both of you on the line here. And Frank, we're gonna give it back to you. Talking about the struggles of particularly. I mentioned, and I love how you guys kept repeating it throughout the game. I mentioned the Swiss cheese defensive line. Do you see any, or just asking from my perspective first, do you guys see any room for improvement and things they can work on to shore up that weakness, or what do you guys see there?
Yeah, the defensive line looked really bad in the first half. You were absolutely right with the Swiss cheese thing. I thought that was the perfect way to describe it, actually, because there seemed to be a hole, even when some players were playing good. Two reasons you can look at that defensive line and say, yes, it will be better, are absolutely Matt Jaworski, the best defensive lineman in the Patriot League right now. And then Claudie Robinson, who's a nose tackle, who's 320 pounds. His job is to go in there and stuff the runs. When they sent him out there to do that, he did that even in the first half. So looking at what Cloudy did out there, big number 90 in the middle, I think putting him on the field more when you're expecting runs to come at you and having Jaworski just be Matt Jaworski and go play loose, hang loose, and then James Conway right behind them. He wasn't there today. It makes a big difference when he's in the run game than when he's not.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference, and you really felt it today. Having James Conway rejoin this defense for Lafayette and Holy Cross, I think that's the biggest reason that those games were one-score games, because you think back to how porous this defense was against Monmouth, against Dartmouth, against CCSU as well without James Conway. You got similar shades of that today. We talked to Coach Conlon when we thought that Conway was going to play today. Conway's just different, man. Like, he fills holes like no one else in this defense. He's so smart and so strong that when you don't have him in that second unit, it completely changes your run defense, and there is a reason that Fordham is one of the worst run defenses in the nation right now, and a lot of it has to do with Conway not being there. So I like what I saw from guys like Jaworski and Robinson in that second half. I thought Jaworski played phenomenal today, but I do worry about that line as a whole, because I do think Lehigh took their pedal off the metal a little bit in that second half. They let Hayden Johnson throw the football. They weren't so preoccupied with giving it to Jaden Green and Luke Yoder. And we saw that when they did that, they basically took whatever they wanted.
Lou, Evan, great to hear from you guys. It's Frank. Now, I want to point out something that Lou had mentioned in the first quarter, saying that Fordham's offense is technically the best it's looked since Stony Brook, at least after their last look against Holy Cross. Obviously, this was countered by their touchdown-less first half. We bring up some of the O-line struggles had by the Fordham offense. But I'm wondering, do you guys think that Coach Conlon's claim of O-line needing to get their feet moving in order to make Julius Luffridge go, do you think it's more of an O-line problem, or was this just a good day for the Lehigh defense?
Really good day from the Lehigh defense overall. They have some elite players on that defensive unit, specifically at linebacker. The offensive line has been shifting around a lot this season. I mentioned Cooper LaFon got hurt. That was a freshman expected to play in the FBS before he committed to Fordham that unfortunately got hurt at tackle. And then we saw Owen Deutsch get hurt, his backup. We saw Colin Van Roy in there. Dylan Haynes has been moving into center, playing from guard. Cody Johnson moving from guard to center. So the line's pretty much so beat up that it's having to move around, having to be extra flexible. So that's been negative for the offensive line's output, but they have been allowing less sacks than they were at the beginning of the season, so they are getting better in some sense.
It's really interesting because you look at these two teams, and it's both very clearly they want to operate offensively by running the football. Lehigh does it because they have two amazing backs in Yoder and Green. Fordham does it because, yes, they have amazing back in Luffridge, but that's also by necessity. The passing attack for Fordham has been really bereft of any type of potency or any type of life. The receivers really aren't getting open a ton. When they are, they drop the football. Capaldi has been inconsistent, really consistently, ironically. He's been consistently inconsistent, and that's killed this Fordham offensive attack. So teams know that they can stack the box against Julius Luffridge, and there's just not enough change of pace in that backfield to counteract that. So I just think Fordham's lifelessness offensively is really, really killing them in the run game. So as much as the O-line has been an issue, I think there's issues everywhere you look.
And I truly wonder if Trip Holly earned himself more of a shot. I don't think Jack Capaldi should be benched. I don't think he deserves to be. Jack Capaldi was put into a very tough situation, having to come into the middle of a game and then start for the rest of this season for a team that was at the time letting up the most sacks in the country in the FCS. So he was in a poor situation, but Trip Holly showed the ability to make crazy negative plays turn into positive plays. And for an offense that has only showed the ability to produce negative broken down plays where pretty much somebody has to run wild to to have a first down, Trip Holly showed the ability to do that better than Jack Capaldi. So I wonder if down the stretch maybe we see them mix Trip Holly more into the game.
Well, that'll just about do it, guys. Thank you so much again for calling in and for calling a great game, great broadcast. Not the result we wanted, obviously, but we'll hope for the next one as Fordham plays Colgate back at home November 2nd, 1 p.m. at the Rose Hill campus. And that'll just about do it for today. I'm Ben Oppenheimer, your studio host, alongside Frank Spicuzza as my post-game host. We also had Joe Henry on updates. We had Caleb Stein producing. And then, of course, our sports director is Bobby Chaffardini, and our sports manager, again, is Lou Orlando, and Will Talon, who is also on site. For WFUV Sports, this is Fordham Football. Thank you for listening. Have a good weekend on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Cool.